How's everybody doing today? Can you hear me okay? Check, check, check. Everybody hear me? Let's see. Just trying to get this all situated here. All right. Hopefully the wireless mic plays nice here. Let me go ahead and close these doors so we don't get interrupted during the stream. I really need to make a live like display to put outside the doors here so people know when we're actually live now. So, all right. So, this is going to be an Ender 5 stream, which is what we have in the box here. This printer was bought directly from Creality. They did give me a slight discount on it, but nothing to write home about. But I wasn't able to get one from GearBest, and we had a lot of people asking about this machine, so we got it in. Also, right here, this came in yesterday. We have a CR10S Pro, so we can start getting our bed leveling kit working on there because we've been getting tons and tons of complaints about how terrible their sensor is. And then also behind us is the Sidewinder X1, so we're going to take a look at that as well next week. So this is brand new. I actually have not even opened it, so let's see what condition it is in, coming directly from China, because this was drop shipped via DHL. And let's see, they got their, yeah, this we got, but we've had this actually from the condo, actually. That's how long I've had this. It's been sitting here with our old address on here. So let me go ahead and use my trusty Leatherman to open up this box here. If you guys don't carry a Leatherman on you, you really should. They're great. I can't remember which one this one is, but it has a Phillips and a flathead and a bottle opener and a knife. It's very versatile. I use it literally every day. It's worth the $40 I spent. I can't see the let's see. I can't read chat because apparently I'm old. Hang on, can I make it bigger in OBS? I cannot make it bigger in OBS. So I have to bring up chat on my other monitor here so I can actually read it because it's freaking tiny. And I feel like such an old man right now. Can't read the chat! Kids in your tiny text! I'm also going to plug our shirts here. This is one of our shirts, and I actually just got in some new ones today. So if you guys want some nerdy 3D printing shirts, and they're only $15.99. We lowered the prices on them. So if you want a good shirt, they're Gildan. Yeah, I'm very happy with them. All right, let's see. What chat? Yeah, there's a video on the channel for repairing your mat if you put your nozzle into it. I've done that before. You just need some glue stick. Let's see who we got. I got to see Roush, Mike Hutchison, Joseph Plotner, WF Ryder. A lot of regulars here, guys. Where nerdy is cool. What's up, Paul? How's it going? And let's just push the merch even further. I'm going to be drinking coffee out of my TH3D coffee mug. Looks great and holds a ton of coffee. This is the 15-ounce version. And I was going to go, I'll be right back. I'm going to go grab some other things here. So, we also now have TH3D stickers. These are going to be included with every order, but you can also purchase them separately for $1 on the website. So if you want more than one in your order, you can add them on. I'm going to put these things everywhere. They're going on my computer, my laptops. I got it on my my silicone mat on my scope station here. Yeah, it's great. No, not labels for Samantha. So this was a shirt I put together playing on the, Days Without Accident. I thought this was funny, so I whipped this up in Photoshop here, and I figure you guys can relate, so I had to order one myself. The sales of the stickers are just, they're stickers. Sales of our printers will go to support Marlin. If you want to buy stickers supporting Marlin, go to printedsolid.com. They have Marlin inside stickers, which we bought 10 of them. But we will be putting the Marlin side logo on the control boxes of our alphas, which are delayed a little bit. You know, we had some staffing issues here, and we had to let someone go because they weren't doing the work I wanted them to do in the quality level that was expected of them. So we had to put that project on hold for a couple weeks and move some people around. So yeah, they're still happening. I got a bunch of them on the way. It's just literally we've had issues with the people trying to build them correctly. So anyways, I won't go on a rant about that, but I also ordered our cat.g code with the Decapicat on here. So if you guys are aware of Decapicat, the original CR10s would come with a G code that was corrupt that would slice the cat's head off. So, and that's that picture's from actually a community member, Chris Garrett. So he let us use the picture on there. We haven't sold that many of them, nor do we make more. We think we make like $2 on a shirt, if that. But I gave him a shirt because I thought the picture was good, and he let me put it on there. So, all right. Does anybody have any questions before we get going with the stream here? As you can see, this is the first time I've seen it. Well, I'm not even seeing it in person yet. So, yeah, we went and bought the. We paid for this. This was not a free printer. We actually paid full price for that because everybody kept wanting it. So I figured, why not? We might as well get it in so we can get some products on there that don't suck. Yeah, and if for those of you that care, I'm vaping some Broke Dick juice today. My buddy Mike recommended them to me. So that's what I've been using because they're cheap. Thanks, Brandon. Look at you. I'll be able to buy myself lunch tonight. Which will be, or dinner, I should say. I mean, I'll take the wife out to McDonald's. I gotta take her on dates more. So. Oh, Matt's all pissed off because he's gotta walk around the other way. They want people walking through my office. So, alright. Let's see. You should buy this, you should buy the stock POS 10S Pros, upgrade yourself. Why would I? The amount of time we'd put into them, you're just going to be better off getting the alpha once those are ready, which are very close. So, very close. Underestimated how much time, definitely underestimated how much time was required to build each machine, but the whole issue where we had a guy that just wasn't doing good work and I had to go back over everything just derailed the whole thing. So we're getting back on track. I got Matt working on the printers now. And speaking of that, I actually got to give him this board to ship back out. All right, sorry, I had to give him a board return or like a repair to go back out to the customer. Forgot I did that last night. So, anyways, we are you talking about ABL and Marlin on the Ender 5? Because the answer is yes to that we're going to do that live. I've got some configuration that my buddy Tyler West started. So, and the fact that this uses the same board we're already used to working with, it should be pretty painless for the most part. Just basically figuring out directions. All right, so let's get into the actual unboxing here. Enough about me and our crazy circus that is TH3D. We got a assembly guide here. Actually, physically printed out. Let's see here. What is in here? Which one do you plan? We're probably the standard size sensor is what we'll probably use on here. We'll see. Let me get it built. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to fit the standard size sensor on here. All right, so basically, it's got like an exploded view on here. Oh, thanks, guys. Now I think we might be able to go to like Wendy's or something, not have to slim it on the dollar menu for date night. Which date night is tonight, actually. So that's very convenient. The only difference between the size of our sensors is the size and the weight. People get confused why we have the mini and we have the regular. To give you guys an idea, we outsell the mini with the regulars about 6-1, 6 being the regulars. The only difference, okay, between the two is the physical size. At the end of the day, the weight doesn't really matter. It's more bragging rights because we got the weight down. But the reality is we have machines like the Wanhao D6 that physically cannot put an 18mm sensor on there without the print head hitting something with the sensor, so reducing your print area. So the point is, for most of our machines, we have the full size on them. Our Wanhao i3 minis, we have the minis on because it's a very tiny printer, but the full size work on those as well too. And the Wanhao G6, we've got the mini size on. So for the most part, if you ask us what would we recommend going with, we'd recommend going with just the regular size, save a couple bucks. There's no offset difference. So how we did the minis was we actually include adapter rings that adapt the 12mm probe to an 18mm probe mount. So all the existing probe mounts work, and because it's exactly centered, the offset is still exactly the same as 18mm. So, but basically, if you have a very compact setup, or you're designing your own custom one, like I've seen a couple guys do, which is what I was kind of expecting people to do, is once we had a smaller, we also had a smaller probe, so people can design more compact mounts, if that makes sense, because I figured people would finally take advantage of that and make a more compact mount. So that's the only other thing. If you're using the pre-supported mounts, then just go with the regular one, save some money. So yeah, I mean, reducing weight, it's not going to matter. Your bed is way heavier, especially on like the Cartesian machines, like the CR10s and R3s. Your bed's always going to be heavier than your print head, so you're basically limited by your bed speed anyways in terms of ringing. So it's not going to hurt anything. Point is, typically we recommend going with the 18mm, unless you have a specific need for the 12, because the 18s are cheaper, and yeah, save some money. All right, so officially right now getting into the unboxing. So we got the little instruction guide, LCD, which looks like a standard Ender LCD, which I'm not surprised. They use the same one across all the machines, which is why the firmware on this shouldn't be too painful. All right, let's see how much assembly we got. It looks like we got an extruder set up in here. Let's see. All right, crappy. This is going to get replaced. I can tell you right now, these plastic ones are garbage. Like, this thing flexes so much, and the tension is so terrible on them. We're going to assemble it stock. I'm going to end up putting either our tough extruder or aluminum extruder on these, because this will eventually be a machine that's going to be in our PLA printer farm. So, ooh, this is a nice touch. We've got anti-backlash nuts on the Z. Now, I've played around with these, and I didn't find that they make that big of a difference in terms of preventing backlash, but it's nice. It's a nice touch. So, nice big long linear bearings here, and I'm assuming this looks like the plate that the bed mounts to. Here's your ZN stop switch here. So if you're going to be installing an EZABL, you're going to be replacing the kit replacing that switch with our kit. Let's see here. All right. Oh God, these. Well, they put the magnet on the bed, so I'll probably put our flex plate on here. These things are terrible. Like, this is like a limp member, and they come off when it starts heating. Like, these are garbage. But that's not this printer's fault that Creality doesn't know how to make a bed plate. But yeah, so if you have this on your printer, just throw this end out, throw it in the garbage, and pick up an Easy Flex, and it'll stick to this. So the easier extruder is nice, but for the price, you can get our tough extruder, which is a geared extruder, which is going to put out more torque than that easier extruder. So there's multiple options for everybody. So that was the bed plate that I took out. Here is... Okay, so this is pretty well assembled. So here's our... Ooh. Flat... Ooh. Ooh. There's a flat spot. See here? If I push it past... See that? Flat spot. Flat spot. So we got some bad bearings here, or they over-tighten the shit out of them. Okay, and I'm going to get this out of the way. So people see this kind of design where the head moves around like this. Okay. All right. This is not Core XY. This is actually still Cartesian because you got one motor here moving the X back and forth. You got another motor here moving the Y back and forth. This is still a Cartesian printer. Okay. Yeah, it's probably over-tightened is my guess. I keep forgetting we do carry bearings. So if you guys ever need the V-slot bearings, we carry them. I just have to put them on the site. I don't know why I haven't. All right, there's more. But wait, there's more. All right, we got a box here. Let's see. Screws, SD card, wrenches, power cable. You guys want to take bets on if the power cable actually has a working ground or not? It looks like it should be okay. It's actually ETL certified, supposedly, according to the molding. But we'll find out. Let's see here. Your standard white PLA. Thought it was ABS for a sec. I was going to be like, All right. We got our extrusion for the frame. And our base. And they actually have... This is pretty cool. On the control box here, they actually have the directions to build it on the control box. All right, and it's set to 230 volts. So that's going to need to change here. I don't know who's calling me. I'm going to put my phone on silent here and put that over on the charger. All right. So, do we want to dive into this? Because this printer, from what I've seen, is going to need a bootloader. There's just no way around it. You can kind of tell that it's got the 1284p board because I got one LCD cable, not two. Let me know if you guys can still hear me now that I'm sitting down. We should be good. We got a lot less interference in the new place than at the condo. So, looks like we got a bunch of connections here. Let me switch over to small cam so we can get here. So it looks like we got lovely XT60s. Hopefully these are not crap. We know how the recent news about how bad these are. Everything's labeled here: bed thermistor, nozzle thermistor, and then we probably got XY, XN stuff, fan 1. Oh, fun 1 and fun 2. Guys, we've got twice the amount of fun on this printer. Come on, focus. Logitech, focus. Focus. There we go. Fun 2 and... Oh, where is it? I just saw it. I got to rotate it. And fun 1. My printer has 0 fun. So this printer's got twice the fun of our printer, which our printer has 0 fun. So they got us beat there on the fun level. We do not have as much fun on our machines. Now, I was wondering if these are wobbly here. All right. So actually, let's crack this open. Right now, because I don't want to... Oh, these need to be tightened up. You see this? Yeah. So let's crack open the control box and get our bootloader flash, because we're going to need the bootloader. I see a Meanwell power supply hiding out inside here, which is a welcome thing to see. I'm assuming they had to because of the profile they decided to use for the metal box down here. Take that out. I will rip that fan cover off. I'm probably going to replace the fan right now, to be honest, because I don't trust these stock fans. Maybe I'll do that. Hey, Matt, if you're watching this, can you bring me two, well, yeah, it's a 24-volt system. Can you bring me two 24-volt 40mm fans that we carry so I can get the Chinesium ones out of here? Because my thing is, if I'm building a new machine, I'm just going to replace the stuff I know that goes out right off the bat. So, all right, let's see the money shot. All right. Oh, yeah, there's the Firmware. And again, okay, here's a problem. This is connected to the layer fan output on this printer, meaning your board is only getting cooled when your layer fan's on. So that entire first layer, and this is assuming that you automatically set your fan to go 100% after the first layer, these stepper motors are getting really hot, okay? So this should be wired to the power input on the board. Okay, like the main power input on the board. That's where that should be wired to. So what I'm going to do here, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and take this fan off. And I'm going to put ours on because I don't feel like dealing with things potentially breaking. Let me try this. Hey Google, make an announcement. Matt, can you please bring me two 40mm 24-volt fans, please? Okay, let's see if it gets out there. All right, so my Google Home is doing all sorts of weird stuff now. So this does not have an SSR. This is an AC or DC powered bed. We got a 24-volt, 350-watt meanwhile power supply, the LRS 350. That is what is in here. We got ground. We've got line and neutral. This all looks good. These are all crimped all nice. So let me see if you got the message. Matthew! All right. My guy is bringing me some fans. So we're going to swap this out, and we're going to show you how to do this. So we've got our fans here that we stock that come in little boxes, depending on which one you get. Now, we do include in the packaging two little quick connects here. So if you have something that's got a plug on it, now we don't use this plug, and I'll show you why we don't need this. You can just use these to crimp the wires together with no special tools required other than a set of pliers. So, however, because we've just got bare wire leads here, so here's our fans that we carry. They last a lot longer. I'm going to go ahead and cut these here because these are tinned ends, and we don't want to put tinned ends into screw terminals. So I'm going to go ahead and snip these, and I'm just going to strip them real quick. Someone's going to judge me for using my teeth. So I got two bare wire leads here, and I'm going to get my flathead screwdriver out, and we're just going to tie this in. Oh, and while we're in here, let's check for a couple other things. Let's see if they screwed anything else up, because did they tin these wires? They sure did. See this? This is a fire hazard right here. This is an absolute fire hazard. These wires going into these type of screw terminals should never, ever be tinned. So if you... I'm willing to bet every single printer, because Creality does this on all their machines. Open this up, cut these off just like this, and then strip them and put the wires into the terminals correctly. I don't understand why these Chinese companies don't understand, after they've been told repeatedly, that this tinning these wires causes fires. Because it creates hot spots in the connectors. The connectors were never designed to have tinned ends in there. So... Who's in charge? All right, so now that I got these crappy tinned ends, we're going to check the other connectors since we're in here. So this is the kind of stuff you should be doing to every Chinese printer you get. So since we want this fan to be on all the time, I'm just going to twist this wire for this fan in with our main power leads coming from the PSU. This is going to make sure this fan is on all the time when the printer's on. So we're just matching red to red, black to black, and we look over here and make sure the Chinese person wired it up correctly on the PSU side, and they did. So we got V+, which is your positive, aka red, and V negative, which is your black. So I'm just doing these two here. So we got nice stripped wires, and these can go into the screw terminals now. Just make sure you remember which one is positive, which one is negative. I can't recall. So I'm going to have to look at a board here. We got, I believe the left side is negative, it looks like. Yes, left side is negative, right side is positive. I'm just going to double check on one other Creality board here. It's got all these boards just laying around. Yeah, left should be negative. All right. And there's no markings on these, unfortunately. So now, when you put these in, you put these into the screw terminals here, okay, you want to make sure, hopefully, you want to make sure your crappy Logitech camera focuses. Come on. Play the focus game. Let's go. Come on. Okay, we're not gonna focus today. So you see how, I know it's kind of hard to see, but you see how there's not all the wire in the terminal, okay? So we're going to trim these because you want all the wire to be inside the terminal. You don't want to be having wire sticking out. There's really not anything major wrong with these boards, to be completely honest. You're not going to get better print quality by switching your board unless you do some drastic stuff like a duet or something, and even then that's negligible difference. So I'm going to go ahead and just trim these so they're not as long, and so they fit all the way into the terminal. So I'm going to go ahead and put my black one in, which is the left, and the insulation goes all the way up to where the entrance of the screw terminal is, so that's good. And I'm going to tighten it down. You don't really want to wrench it down. Then I always give them a little tug when I'm done to make sure that they... God, somebody's going to take that out of context. I just know it. Damn it. Give them a little pull when I'm done to make sure that they stay in. I'm just retwisting my fan wire here. The CR10S board has the same chip as an MKS, but the MKS are nice, and that's why we're looking at carrying them, because they're a cheaper alternative to the Creality boards, but they're more work. They're not a direct swap, so if you got time to swap your boards, to be completely honest, guys, I don't even swap my boards out for custom boards anymore. I use the stock ones with our firmware because, you know what? They work great. You know, they do. They work. Now, let's see if Creality decided to change the size of these standoffs, because we had an issue where we stocked fans for the Ender 3, and then Creality decided to change the size of these standoffs. So let's see if this fan fits on these standoffs. If it doesn't, I will show you how to make it fit. So they kind of fit. It's a tight fit. Oh, there we go. Okay. So this is how it fit before on the Ender 3s. And then they changed the powder coating or something and made the post that these snap onto slightly thicker, just thick enough that it's screwed with the fan seating on there, and you would have to round the holes out a little. And we have this documented on the site. So, yeah, Gen L is a good board. Like I said, we're going to start carrying those. I've already got pricing on them. And I just got to confirm the order. So we'll be offering those. All right, so what we've done so far is we've de-Chinesiumed the screw terminal inputs so we don't cause a fire. I'm now replacing the fan because these other fans are just, they're terrible. They don't run very well. They don't run very long. So I just get rid of them. Now, you want to have the fan blowing in. So this is now going to be on all the time. Now, they did put some hot snot on the other screw terminals here. If we go ahead and take a peek here, So I'm going to go ahead and take this hot snot off. I mainly want to look at the bed wires and the other heater wires. The thing is, if you put your cables in correctly, you shouldn't need to have hot glue on it. And this isn't really something that's going to come out during shipping. So let's take a look at the heater wires here for the hot end. Because none of these wires should be tin that are carrying current. And of course, China tinned them. So if you see this, cut them, strip them, repeat. So let's go ahead and get rid of the tinned ends because we know what we're doing. And then strip. And I'm not going to take points off for this in terms of my rating. Every single Chinese printer manufacturer does this. It's wrong. But I don't know. They don't know what they're doing. You will not find crap like this in our machine. I can guarantee it. So I'm going to put these wires back in. Which are always a pain when these boards are in the case. Always a pain in the ass. And we're going to check the bed wires too, because those carry a lot of current. So those should be checked to make sure they're not tinned as well. And they're tinned. So 100% incorrect wiring here. Way to go, China. You always never fail to disappoint me. Yeah, you can do ferrules. I don't see the need. Just more time spent. These terminals are designed for bare wire. They're designed to clamp around the wire and let it flare out inside so you get maximum surface contact. Yeah, so the tin wires, in all seriousness, what we're doing right now, can actually cause a fire. Luckily, if you have our firmware installed, which we will be working on once we get this, once we're done de-Chinesiuming it, you'll have thermal protection, because I'm pretty sure I was reading that they still are, this is a newer printer in terms of model that came out, and they still are not shipping with thermal protection. Now, these are the bed wires. These are not polarity sensitive, just in case anyone was wondering. So if you mix these up, it does not matter. It's just a heater. So now there is the oh, I forgot. There's an always on 12 volt here as well. Right, that's what these other two wires, and that's what the hot end fan's going to. And those can be tinned. Those don't carry a ton of current, so those can be tinned. Those aren't going to cause a problem. I don't think I'm going to add a MOSFET right away. I'm going to see how this does without one. But the MOSFET, there is a MOSFET on the board, but you got to remember we're running 24 volts on this, so it's not carrying as many amps as a 12 volt printer. So all our other connections look good. We got our standard LCD. Got some wire on there. Here's our programming header. So exactly the same process as flashing the CR10 bootloader. So we're done in here. We got our new fan installed right here. We've got a Meanwhile power supply stock, so that's good. And I'm actually going to check our VREFs on here just to make sure. Or no, you know, I'm going to see if they work stock, because I can always just flip this over. But should we flash the bootloader now or later? What should we do? Flash the bootloader now or later? What would people like to see? Only the CR10 machines have the MOSFETs on the heated beds. We do stock MOSFETs for 12 and 24 volt. So if you want one, we have them. Another moderator just handled this. Now, Jesus. Okay, I get it. Right, meow. God, you guys are so demanding sometimes. Oh, where has my Uno gone? Oh, where can it be? Oh! I'm also going to put an easy out on here, because this board will work with the easy out, so let's just get this all taken care of. So there's a little bit of hot snot on there. Looks like the easy out should fit in here. So let's see here. Where is my Uno? I had one on my desk the other day, and I don't know where it went now. Hello, little Uno. Where's my Uno programmer? It'd be great if I knew where my Uno was. Not in that drawer. It's upsetting because I've got so many of these dang things because I use them all the time. But when I need to find one, I can never locate one. Like, what the hell, man? Maybe it's all the way in the back. Maybe. Maybe. Ah. This is a copy of our easy out board. It doesn't fit because the guy doesn't know how to design the boards. That's great. I'm pretty sure ours will do just fine because I took into account tight tolerances on that side. Oh wait, is this an easy out? This is an easy out. Let's see if I am correct. Bam! There we go. Easy out board fits the Ender 5. There we go. Film and Sensor City right now. Yours was what? The easy out was something I came up with. No one had that out before me. Period. The George guy can say whatever the hell he wants. But I've got the receipts. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to hook up my sensor wire here. So we're going to have a filament sensor on here. Let's go ahead and plug that in. And it's that easy. So we just still got to flash the bootloader, so I'm going to move this out of the way. Let's see. All right. All right. So, who is 3D Noob? Oh, that's Matt. Matt, I need you to bring me an Uno bootloader kit, please. What else can I check in here? So the easy out is literally just as simple as we even include like a header cap, so you can't accidentally misalign it anymore. Let's see here. Yeah. So, who cares? I care because I spent 2 months working on getting this board done, and then some neckbeard came along and was pissed off I wouldn't share the source with him on a project I spent working 2 months on. And we're a company, not a charity. And so he figured out how we did open source it, and now eBay's flooded with copies of our product. So, open source or not, the guy was a dick about it. So, if I wanted to have... Thank you. If I wanted to have my product copied and spend time making stuff just so people could profit off of my work, then I would have open sourced the EZABL, because it was a good test of should we open source our hardware or not, because the Pin 27 copied our product, and now everybody and their mother that knows how to pick up a soldering iron halfway decent is making them on eBay. So that just further reinforced that I will not open source our hardware. We will keep our firmware open source and keep using Marlin and not spend time on our own, because the firmware should be. But the point is, you know, you have a company that's dedicating time to research and development, and then someone comes along after all the hard work's done and profits off it. So if you disagree with that, then that's your opinion. As a business owner that spent a lot of time on this simple little board here, you guys just see the end result. You guys don't see all the testing of every little thing that it took. And this is a very simple board, But there was a lot of testing done with this board. And if I wanted everybody to copy it, I would have open sourced it. That's why I don't open source the EZABLs. And because of what happened with the pin 27 and our Easy Out, I will never open source our hardware because of people like that just come along and are opportunistic and just want to make a quick buck without having to do any work. So anyways, we have our Uno here. We have this all taped up. This one floats around the shop. So we have our reset pin here connected to number 10. So we have these taped. So this is a cool thing. So if you ever want to streamline your bootloader flashing process, if you're doing multiples, okay, we put them in the alignment that they should be, and then we wrap some tape around them and basically have a plug then. So now what I do is I line up the Uno board so it's like this. So we got our programming header here on the board. We got our programming header, and you just want to connect. So I know my blue wires are on the left, so these should be by the LCD cable. I'm just going to plug these in. The actual pin out and everything and all the wiring for what order these go in is on our site. If you go to bootloader.th3dstudio.com, that will take you to our bootloader information page. So now we need to plug this into our computer, and let's see if my screen sharing working. My screen sharing is working. So there's my cute little kitty background. Yes, that is my actual wallpaper. I have Display Fusion rotate out my wallpapers every hour, and sometimes it's cat photos. Actually, all the time it's cat photos. It's just different cat photos. All right, I do need... Actually, I have a USB hub under my desk that I just hooked up last night. So let me plug this in. And while I'm down there... actually, I'm just going to plug a USB extension. How's that? I have the Creality ABL kit here, but it is DOA and a $40 paperweight, and they still have yet to refund me or anything, or even provide firmware source for it. All right, come on, there we go. Got it in the hole. So let's get the keyboard and mouse out here, and let's go over some flashing here. Let me grab my actual mouse. I hate touchpads so much. I hate touchpads with a passion. All right. Yeah, they're leeches, just like the other guys on eBay that were selling their products as ours. So I've got... There we go. It's probably tiny because it's a 4K monitor. All right. I'm just making sure there shouldn't be anything uncounted. This printer is the reason that this version is not on the site yet. I wanted to get this wrapped up because I already have an Ender 5 section, if memory serves correct. Yes, I do, right here. Ender 5 section. And then we'll eventually get the dual board as well, because the dual board will be able to be used on this machine, actually. So, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start. So, basically, to flash your bootloader, I'm going to go... Man, I can't read this because this is a 27-inch monitor. It's 4K, and I can't see. All right, there we go. Arduino ISP. And what we're going to do is we're going to... Let's open another screen. Okay, losing your monitor because you have too many pixel densities on your screen, or whatever the hell you want to call it, is it's the first world problem. Okay, so I'm plugging in the Uno. Uno is plugged into not my PC. Oh my god, I need more coffee. All right, so it helps if I plug the USB cable in my computer. So if you have everything connected correctly, you'll see here, see how the light turned on the board, and we've got some lights on here. Now this already has the Arduino ISP sketch on it, but I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. So basically now I've got the Arduino ISP sketch loaded. All right, I'm going to go and select my COM port. So I know it's not COM1, it's probably COM6 here. I'm going to go ahead and select the board as Arduino Uno, and then I'm going to upload. And this is going to upload to the board. It's going to take not much time at all. And that's it. So now this Arduino is set up to program a board. So we can close that out. I'm going to go back to the firmware here. And I'm going to select Sanguino 1284P. I'm going to select the COM port of our Uno. And then you want the programmer to be Arduino as ISP. And we're going to hit Burn Bootloader. Oh, we got an error. This is good. Then I can show you guys. Invalid device signature. Did I select the right board? Yeah, I did. Select our COM port, though. I'm going to replug this in here. All right. Let's see. Tools. Burn bootloader. There we go. Done burning bootloader. Okay, so you got to replug your Arduino Uno sometimes, apparently. So there we go. But we now have a bootloader on our board. So now I can go ahead and we're done with the Uno. So I'm going to disconnect this and we can button this up. Now when I turn the LCD, when I turn power on to this machine, there's going to be nothing on the screen because there's no, what's the word I'm looking for? There's no firmware on here. The bootloader, when you flash it, overrides that. So I'm going to plug our easy out in. It's literally just as simple as line up the plug and push it in all the way. There you go. And then we're going to put the LCD cable. I already connected the cable for the, what's the word I'm looking for? The cable for the sensor. I'm going to make sure that this is, this was in my development drawer. I'm going to make sure this is the right cable. It is. And plug your LCD plug back in. Now this looks like it's right on the edge here in terms of this hitting, but this should be fine. I don't see why this wouldn't close still. So, because your board's got a little flex to it anyways. So, yeah, we'll be fine. And let's go ahead and put these screws back in. I'll make sure you guys can see all the screwing action here. It's probably the most exciting thing that happens here. Alright, it looks like my wires are in the way of the fan grill, which isn't that big of a deal, but bothers me, so we're going to go ahead and move those. And just make sure none of your wires are in the way when you start closing everything up. I'll go ahead and just put these in here. I should have used my nicer screw set. Yeah, so this makes it stick up a little bit, but it doesn't matter because that side's not going, it's not going to be touching the ground. You got the feet, so that'll all be good. I am married. I don't know if you know that. So I actually could get laid whenever I want. It's just I'm always working. And that's not even a joke. I wish it was. Not even a joke. Because as much as I would like to make money for doing that, I can't. Are those feet on the frame? They're just on the frame, it looks like. Let's see. They're not hammerheads. They tapped into the extrusion for them. So, alright. Well, we got the easy out installed. We got the bootloader flashed. So let's actually get onto the build. And all the and the more important part is we got the wiring fixed, so that way it's not as much of a fire hazard anymore. Okay, we got to make sure we mind you hand, high temp, and caution. All right, so this should be pretty straightforward. So we're going to bolt 4 pieces on. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Bolt the top frame on, and then the bed support, and then the bed itself. So this should be a pretty quick build. Let me unwrap these here. It's seems like a decently constructed machine. I am going to tighten up all the bolts and everything. All right, we got one extrusion. Two. Three, and 4 is in here. All right, and these are all the same. All the same, they look pretty decent. No metal shavings from what I can see, which is good. Unlike any cubic where I've gotten more metal shavings with the printer than I did filament. Alright, so our screws are in here. It's saying we're going to use 5 or 8 M5 by 25s. Alright, stuff for the spool holder. M5 by 25s. They give you an extra nozzle. Extra PTFE fitting for the extruder side, and then we got some 10mm M4s, and then a Chinese SD card. I'm waiting. The guy that I use for those is out of town right now. He should be back tomorrow night. I have it written down when he's supposed to be back in town. Because I gotta order other size flex plates. So. Yeah, Tor, I need to know if you're going to Murph or not, because otherwise I'm going to have extend an invite to William, and if he wants to go. Because you have first dibs because you have seniority over him, just how it works around here. It needs a QC sticker. How about... Where'd I put him? Oh, you guys know what I'm going to grab. How about a QC sticker? It's been QC'd. Here we go. By TH3D. Bam! There's my QC sticker right here. Bam. How's that? Okay, Tor. That's fine. I see how it is. Just crushing my hopes and dreams. Let's see here. Approved by Inspector 12. Oh, man. I haven't checked up on our Prusa Stole My Ideas buddy yet. Should see if he posted anything new. Now, what I'm doing is I'm tightening these up, but I'm not fully tightening them. They still can flex a little. And the reason I do this is because I want to square up the machine when I'm done. I'm also going to tighten these up because these were moving a little bit when I was working on them. These are the actual frame ones. And like there's some gaps in the frame too. Like this is not lined up correctly. Should not be a gap in the frame like this. That actually pushed in, so that's good. And they're not even using the T-nuts. They just tapped right into extrusion. So luckily there's some play in the bracket here. I'm just going to tighten this up. Oh, set our power supply to 115 because we're in America. And we believe in using 115. I guess Canada uses 115 too, so. And they use the same plug types as we do. Because they're obviously the best. Using American logic. I think I was watching this one video. There was this one video where they referred to Canada as America Light, and I thought that was hilarious. So, I can't remember the name of the thing. Well, apparently there's supposed to be little extrusion caps, but the one on this front is missing, which bothers me. Oh, yeah, the prototype test guy. Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. Wonder if he posted anything recently. I'm not subbed to his channel. I just hear about when he goes on his rants. It's usually right around the time he goes off his meds, I'm assuming. Yeah, it's shipper to it is safer to ship it. Exactly. That's exactly why I do not ship our power supplies at 115, because if we ship our power supplies to a foreign country, which we do, and they plug it in at 115, boom. Fireworks. Whereas if you plug a power supply in and it's 115 input voltage and it's set to 220, it doesn't turn on usually. It doesn't really hurt anything. It's just more like power supply is broken. I had one guy that started this big, huge thread on the TiVo Tornado group because we sold him, and I quote, a faulty power supply, and it turned out the idiot didn't read the giant yellow sticker on the power supply that says to set to your input voltage for your country. So, and then I had another guy this week in Australia who opened a PayPal dispute after 6 days of his order shipping because somehow he expected us to get a first-class international package, or not us, but he expected the post office to get a first-class international package from the U.S. to Australia in less than 2 weeks, which doesn't happen if you know anything about shipping times. So I banned him from the site. He was being a dick, and I was like, okay, well, that's fine. I was like, we're not, you've now wasted 5 hours of our time between us having to call PayPal to get this dispute closed out and get all the information over to them to prove that we actually shipped the order and all this stuff. So if you do something like that, like you just, are impatient and you open a dispute, we're going to ban you from the store and any of our communities because that wastes our time. It's 5 hours between my wife and I that could have gone to working on stuff like this or helping customers with actual issues, not people being impatient idiots. So he was appalled. He's like, I can't believe you'd do this. I can't believe you would open a PayPal dispute after 6 days. Like, you're international. Have you never ordered anything from outside your country before? Like, we show on the site 14 business days shipping time for first class international because that's the average time. And this guy was just like, I want it faster. You should have paid for priority. Like, fuck you. Excuse my French. Like, it's bullshit. Okay, somehow I put all of these that are drilled out with the thing on the top, which is the correct way. I didn't realize. So these are actually, because it doesn't mention, unless I missed it. Oh, hole. Yeah, that's very descriptive. I thought they meant there's other holes on the top, because there are. So either way, I lucked out, and they are in the right position. So be mindful of that, because both sides are tapped. They should have it showing side hole. I'm assuming maybe in these directions here that are hopefully more detailed. Yeah, they do actually show it on here, so that's good. But if you're following the one on here, it's not very clear. It's like, yes, I know there's holes on the top of the extrusion. That's standard practice. I did not get the wrong hole this time. We are the right hole now. There, and I just lucked out. I think it was the way I unpacked them. Kappa. I honestly don't know. I think it's two. Oh, it should see here. 220 by 220 by 300. I knew it was 220 by 220. I'm assuming it's a 235 bed. Yeah, David, you were supposed to test the firmware and send it back to me if I'm correct. I spent time getting that, which is why we're doing this right now, is because I need to get the firmware supported. and I'm pretty sure if you're the same guy in our customer group, I had sent you this firmware that I had up on my screen a little while ago. I was waiting to hear back. You still haven't flashed it. Damn it, David. Well, I'm going to beat you to it, and this has been sitting in a box since November. I'm going to beat you to flashing it. All right, so now we are going to put the top one. Firmware has been working. I ordered this directly from Creality's store. If you want to get it from a U.S. vendor, you can go to tinymachines3d.com. He's actually a friend of mine. He's a really cool guy. The guy that runs it is Chris. But if you want to save, actually, he's got his pricing down too. He used to be a lot more than Creality direct. Obviously, because they're shipping from China, he's shipping from the U.S. But he's gotten his pricing really aggressive lately, so I don't see why anybody would order directly from China unless they got a screaming deal. Like this, I got a really good deal. Chris, I haven't been able to get review machines from, nor would I expect him to, because he's a small business. I'm not going to ask him for handouts, or printers to review. Like that's the manufacturer's responsibility, is to get printers to review. Yeah, it's definitely, this side is over tensioned. So I'm just adjusting the eccentrics on here. I'm still feeling some resistance here. I'm gonna get this mounted. Don't be a dick. I would not be able to wear that shirt because I'd be guilty of violating that. Alright, so let's make sure we put this on the right way. So the front of this extruder needs to face the front of the printer. Alright, so what are we using? We're using the M5x25s for them, which we had sitting here. Where did they go? M5x25, M5x25, yeah. I just had them. We just pulled them out of the bag. Come on. Where did they go? That is the question. Ah, here they are. Alright, so we got one that goes in up here, it looks like. Yep. And then one on the side. Okay. Yeah, this is a pretty long Bowden tube. I'm not going to argue with you there. Might give you a complex if your tube is long enough or not. It's definitely under a meter though, so you can still get like 1 meter of tough tube to replace it if you want tubing that doesn't have a ton of slop in it. Come on. Let's see here. I'm not gonna replace it just yet, because we gotta put ABL on here and whatnot. I mean, unless you guys really want to see me replace a tube, like, I don't think it's that exciting of a process. All right. Yeah. Yeah, if I... Well, the fan's not going to make it print better. The wiring changes aren't going to make it print better. It's just going to make it not catch on fire. Potentially. Allegedly. What's the word I want to use so it's not, like, slanderous? I mean, the reality is these wires should not be tinned at all, so it's dangerous. Period. Just add that to your checklist when you get a new printer. I don't care who it's from. You can even check it on our machines, but I guarantee you will not find tinned wires on our power connectors because we know what we're doing. I just need to find other people that know what we're doing so I don't have to do everything myself. That was a problem we were having, is that trying to get people to execute the projects and products exactly the same way or pretty close. Obviously, no one's going to be exactly the same as I am. Was very hard. You know, people thinking that they can do things better and it screws stuff up, and yeah, that's why we're behind schedule now on the alphas, is because we had to let a guy go because that guy wasn't doing things correctly, and I'm not going to tolerate that on our products. Alright, I'm just tightening up the base ones now that I got this all done. Yeah, training new employees sucks. Just looking here. Oh, pneumatic fittings failed. I'm not even surprised. We sell those we sell those as well. So basically, as not if when your parts start failing, we carry pretty much all the parts that are going to fail. Your fittings, your power supplies. This power supply should be good because this has got a mean well in it. But we carry power supplies, we carry fans, we carry replacement boards, couplers, tubing. Our tough tubing is awesome. I love that stuff. It's got a much tighter internal diameter, so you get less play in your shit. Your tubing, I should say. Alright. Just making sure this is all squared up here, bud. Now here's the thing, this is an interesting design, but there are so many more variables for this to be improperly assembled by your average person. That would be my only concern. Versus the Ender 3s are pretty straightforward. Alright, so now we gotta put on the assembly that holds the bed, which is 4 bolts that go back here. So I'm gonna take our last 4. Whoop! That was convenient. That fell on my keyboard wrist rest. Your Capricorn tubing got stringy. I've never heard that. I have heard of them. What's the word I'm looking for? I need to find a towel because I got grease on my hands. Oh, this will work. I have heard of them shrinking and melting. But I haven't heard of them stringing. Yeah, I am gonna... You're not the first person to suggest we should have, like, a new printer package. I absolutely agree. That's a great idea. Just have a bundle. Be like, well, what do you recommend on a new printer? Here, buy this package. What printer do you have? Select your printer from the drop-down, and our system will put a bunch of products in the cart. And then you buy them and put them on your printer, and then you don't have to worry about those parts for a long time. Alright, so when I'm putting this together, I'm just making sure that these 2 pieces of extrusion are flush. And the thing is, too, like, if something's not squared up, we can just go back around and loosen everything up. Yeah, I'm going to put together some bundles for you guys in the next week here. I just got too much other stuff. You guys, it is insane how much work it is to hire a new person, and then train said person, and on top of that, keep up with all the day-to-day stuff. We're just going to do streams like this. We're going to schedule them during the day. It is an item on my task list. And eventually I would like to get to a point where maybe we set up like some sort of funding just for the channel where we'll have like a community demand video, like, you know, the people that give us money every month for the sole purpose of making videos on YouTube will get to choose a video topic or guide or whatever you want to call it for us to do, you know, once a week or month, depending on how many people we have, you know, funding that project. And that would be in addition to the normal stuff. So the point would be to get some funds flowing through so I could allocate a day, because it's like, oh, okay, we're getting, you know, $800 a month. You know, that's 2 days I can allocate towards video. I will never do Patreon. Screw that. They're a terrible company that doesn't know when to keep their mouth shut and just collect money and do what they're supposed to do. That's why I don't like getting political. I'm a 3D printing company, and no one needs to care about my political views or who I think is a bad person, morally. Like, just do your job and don't get political with shit. Personally, go and do whatever you want, you know, on the personal side. But in your business, it's stupid. You're gonna lose money from people because you pissed off a, you know, half of your user base, and then yeah. You could go on a rant for that, but it's stupid to get political for your company. Like, I don't give a shit what political alignment, or even my friends. I don't even care what political alignment my friends are, because I'm an adult and I can understand that people can disagree. But the point is, don't get political with your freaking company. Like, it doesn't matter. So, that's why I won't do Patreon. All right, so let's see here. We got that bolted up. I'm assuming we need to put the bed on. Yeah, we're going to put the bed on with the M4x10s. And there are 4 of them, it looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the extruder goes on the back right here. So we're going to go ahead and bolt this on. What do you mean PayPal is starting to do the same? Because we use PayPal, and they are honestly a pain in the ass to deal with. I would not mind dropping PayPal. If I had a reason to drop PayPal, that'd be great. Because they're a terrible company to deal with. They side with the buyers most of the time, which is why I kid you not, we spent 5 hours between the time I spent on the phone with them and the time my wife spent on the phone with them, because this guy was impatient on his international order. So whereas Square, if we get a dispute or something through a credit card payment, they handle a lot of that for us. PayPal, you have to fight for your freaking money. Like, people can easily rip you off on PayPal. Easily. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and connect these. We got the nozzle thermistor, which I'm assuming links up to that. They definitely have it so you can accidentally connect the cables to the wrong thing, because they have the same type of connectors here. Let me switch over to small cam here, so you guys can see what my hands are doing. So Fun 2, I'm just matching the colors up, because that would make sense. I'm going to check the directions, see what they actually say in the directions, but... Now, here's the thing. I do not like... Now, this is 24 volts, so it's probably fine, but I do not like these type of connectors for hot end wires, but because we're on 24 volt and there's less amps going through it, we should be okay. I just don't like them that much because I've seen too many issues. So, we've got our Z motor here. And I'm just going to go over this here. Now, the nice thing about this is when you have the EZABL, you can actually move this Z wire down, so you can clean up your wiring quite a bit. Because the EZABL module replaces the end step. So you no longer need that. I'm actually going to go outside the frame totally here. Go underneath and up. Yeah, it's kind of annoying. You would think you would have it home. They would have it home to max, But I guess that would be a little more work. All right, so we got our X motor here. I'm still feeling bumps. There's some wheels that are defective on here for sure. All right. Yeah, that's another thing with these kind of... Oh, that's why. Derp. Apparently I'm special. All right, here's X. I had X at one point. I don't know why. I don't know how I swapped that. All right, Y. Where's our Y end stop? All right, should be... Okay, it's right here. Like, why am I building another Creality printer? Just kidding. I do actually like their machines. But I still reserve the right to give them a hard time. Alright, so I'm going to go up between the rail here. Those are not XH for the hot end. Those are a little bit larger. I can't recall the name of them. But the easy out will work just fine. The sensor wire will reach. Like I said, I'm very familiar with this board, so we shouldn't be too long on firmware. Like, I'm going to work on the firmware right now. Thanks to Tyler West, though, for giving me a little head start on some of the config. So, should be a pretty painless process, and we'll see if this prints here. Alright, so we've got actually 6 screws. It looks like they changed this later on. So the instructions do not match the physical machine, but again, now this is one thing why I took so long on our printer, is because I don't want to be doing stuff where, you know, we make one batch and then we change a bunch of stuff on the next one, and then the first people are like, why is all this stuff changing? And you just did a bunch of improvements on this and all this other stuff, you know what I mean? Like, get it right the first time. So I don't know what batch this was from, if this was like the very first one. We've had this for a couple months, just sitting in the box. If I was not building Creality, what would be my next choice? A Wanhao. Wanhaos aren't bad. Not the D9, though. The Wanhao D9 I've heard nothing but terrible things about. But their i3 is a pretty solid contender. We have one here, and it's been a reliable little machine. And then obviously our printer, like, I'm going to say that, but that is in limited quantities right now. So, and that's completely different class. You could buy like 3 of these machines for the price. Well, actually maybe not 3. 2 of these machines for the price of ours. Obviously there's a lot of difference, but in terms of just raw cost, our machines are expensive because they take a lot of time. We got about 4 hours of labor per machine. And then 24 hours of testing into each one. Back here to our main view. Yeah, the D9 is a pile. Mike likes his Wanhaos, though. Don't you, Mike? Mike loves his Wanhaos. Mike was actually I believe you were one of the first people I hooked up with the EZABL Mini when we were getting all that stuff going. So we could actually get that printer supported and working. All right, so got my filament sensor here. I need to find a mini USB cable, which I just saw one in this box of stuff over here earlier. Yep. Knew I had one. My D6, the ribbon cable has now failed 3 or 4 times. I've lost count, to be honest. But other than that, that's the only gripe I have. Now, we are going to replace this hot end fan. But I'm going to do that a little bit later because they should work. Let me plug my LCD in here, and we're going to start working on the firmware. Yeah, I'm gonna revive my D6 by making a cable harness to replace the ribbon cable. But they're garbage in terms that ribbon cable is the worst design I've seen on a hot end assembly. period. Like, they can take the cake for worst cable management, because it's gone out tons of times, and I keep having to redo it. I seem to have lost one of my Allen wrenches. I think this is it. Yep. There we go. Yeah, the bed is cantilevered. It's like the D6. Except it's not a ball screw. It's just a lead screw. The D6 actually has a ball screw, which is real nice. If you know anything about mechanical things and stuffs, you'll know how nice ball screws are compared to lead screws. But you also know how expensive ball screws are compared to lead screws. Which is why we don't see ball screws on these cheap machines. Because that would be way too much money for the Chinese to spend to improve their printers. Alright. Just making sure both the hammerhead's locked in on here. I feel like I'm Wilson from like Home Improvement. Like, I should just do this. It should be a thing where you guys just don't see my head. I'm just constantly behind the printer. If anybody gets that reference, thank you. For you younger people, you're probably not going to understand what Home Improvement is. Because that show is long gone, sadly. Well, yeah, that's... I pay a lot of money to have a printer and never have to screw it mechanically. That's going to be ours. Like I said, we're very close to be able to ramp these up, and we got more. So that's the goal I'm shooting for. Prusa's up there too if you want something that's... Well, they're still taking a while to ship stuff, but you guys know what I mean. You're paying more money for better QC. All right, so I got nothing on the LCD here, which is fine. That means a bootloader took, so nothing bad going on here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to actually move this printer off right now, and we're going to get to work on the firmware. This is actually a heavy little sucker. All right. All right, right monitor. So now I'm going to pull up here. So we're going to have, so far we've got the easy out here. And we're going to have Ender 5. So I'm going to set up my base config here. Ender 5, and I'm going to go into my configuration backend. Is this backend? No, this is ADB. I can't read it from this distance here. Okay, here's Ender 5. So here's all of our settings here. I'm assuming the end stop invertings are all going to be the same. I'm going to pull up my... Let's see. Well, don't take the bearing off and lose your balls. Quality, low cost does not excuse stuff that's just straight up broken. I don't care how cheap it is. If the printer doesn't print and it doesn't last for more than 30 days, then it's just garbage. Straight up. Like, I don't care how cheap something is. That's like, if you go to Walmart and buy a $100 laptop, okay, it is going to be slow as all hell, okay? It's going to be slow, super slow. However, it will still function as a laptop. It's just going to take a while. Whereas you get printers that don't even work as printers. You follow me? Like, that's the issue here. So, all right, I'm going to see what Tyler, your screenshot is like tiny. All right, so we are going to have to add some other code in here. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put on some music in the background, and I'm going to get into coding mode here. So I will, let's see, YouTube. We're going to do some coding here. I don't have huge monitors. Let's see. No copyright sounds. No copyright music. Let's see here. These guys always have good music here. And I'll just mute my mic. Or maybe I'll just... Oh, you can't hear it on here. So here, I'll just unmute it. There we go. I can mute my mic, so I'll keep an eye on chat. I'm going to start coding so you guys can see what I go through when I'm coding stuff. Okay, so what this code is, and I had already put this in. So because the X and Y home to the most, the X homes to the right instead of the left, and the bed homes to the back instead of the front, I believe. So I'm just going through in my mind. So yeah, so X and Y home to the back right corner, which is going to put us at the max on those. So to show that it's homing to max instead of min like most printers do, I have to set up an else if statement here. So what this evaluation does, so it first checks, is the WANHA i3 Mini uncommented? If it is, X is going to home to max, Y and Z are going to home to min. And then it's going to go an else if. So if this isn't a valid defined statement, it's going to go to this one. It's going to check, okay, is enter 5 enabled? If it is, we're then going to home to X max and Y max, and then all the other printers home everything to min. So that's what this code is doing. And I need to just change a couple other things. I need to change, put in basically something for the end stops here. Let me see here. All right, I'm just gonna turn this off, and then I'll basically, if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'll just keep this muted so you don't hear me vaping while I'm coding. So, but I'll check chat while I'm working on this here. But this should only take a few more minutes, so let me make sure this is still no copyright music. Okay, it is. All right. So now I've got enough code in here where I'm going to go ahead and flash this, and we're going to see how everything moves if I need to change directions of any of the stepper motors or anything. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up in my Arduino IDE here. And then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to actually move this stuff so we have the printer over here. Because this is the process I go through. Now, this printer is going to be pretty easy to get added in because I'm already familiar with the board. Creality, luckily, doesn't deviate too much between models. So it saves us time development-wise. But it took us a ton of time to get to this point where we can do the firmware pretty well and get familiar enough with it where we can bang it out pretty quick. So that was the whole point of Unified, was getting the baseline so we're not having to tweak firmware for each individual machine, but instead come up with a baseline that just works. All right. So I'm going to connect this to my computer here. And remember, we got the bootloader on, so there's nothing on my LCD screen right now. I do need to get power over here. Where's our power cable? It should reach. All right. Let me go under my desk and plug this in. All right. And turn it on. LCD stays on. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and upload the firmware to the printer and see what works and what doesn't, and then we're going to fix what doesn't work. Is the music too loud? I have it set pretty low on your guys' end. All right, so I'm going to make sure Sanguino is selected, and here's a COM port for my printer. And I'm going to go ahead and go into my configuration .h here. Go to the under 5 section, and we're going to go ahead and hit upload. So now this is going to upload to the printer. And since we got the bootloader on, it should just go right onto the machine. Make sure all your slicers are closed when you're flashing firmware, because it can grab the COM port, and then Arduino's not going to be able to do anything. Unfortunately, Harley, I think Creality for the price is as good as you're gonna get. But you know, it's not. Basically, you can pick, you know, reliability, cost. What is it? There's like 3 things you get to pick 2. There's reliability, price, low price, and quality. So you can pick 2. So you can pick quality and low price, but it's not reliable. You can pick reliability and quality, but it's not going to be cheap. So you guys can see. So our firmware is on, and you can see here, if I switch over, bam, we got firmware on here. So TH3D firmware, we're going to go ahead and restart. I'm pretty sure I have the boot screen disabled on these, though. We'll see. I'm pretty sure. No, I don't. It's only when you enable ABL, because that takes up more memory. So there we go. I'm going to plug this in my computer. And I'm going to see how I'm going to move the axes. So I'm going to bring these up to their not max, not min position. So somewhere in between. And our thermistors are reading, so that's good. I'm going to check our axes right now. So I'm going to move X and see if this goes the right way. So this should move right. Okay, it's moving left, so that's good. That's going the right direction. Except it's not wanting to move the full direction, but it could be because I need to home it. So X looks like it's moving correctly. Let me check Y. Y looks like it's moving correctly. So let me home XY. Let me home X. What is X doing? Oh, you know what? I think they have, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to check my end stop inverting here. So I'm going to switch back over to the monitor, and we're going to load up Simplify 3D, and, or actually, it's probably going to be tiny as hell. So I'm going to go ahead and select the COM port here, and it's 115200 for Creality machines. I'm going to hit connect. And I'm going to reset the EEPROM, so I'm going to do an M500. I'm sorry if this is too small, but I'll just say what I'm doing. So I'm setting N500 to reset the EEPROM, and then M502 to store that. And then we're going to do an M119. And I can see the X is triggered. So X is not... So it's triggered now. It's not... Okay, so I need to invert the XN stop logic and the Y. And is the Z going to need to be inverted? Z does not need to be inverted. Alright, so what I'm going to do now, we're going to have to do some more custom config here. I like using Notepad++. Alright. So here's what we're going to have to do. Because the Ender 5 is like part of the CR10 config, because they all use the same board, that's how we do it, I'm going to have to add some more conditional if-else statements in. So where's my CR10 settings here? So here they are. So here's all our... Basically, if any of these are enabled, it jumps into this here. So what I need to do here, so X and Y need to be inverted, so I'm going to add some additional code here. It's going to be really simple. I'm going to do hashtag... or pound if enabled Ender 5. I'm going to put another line. Make sure you indent your code because you're not a heathen. I work a lot faster on my other keyboard and mouse. Alright, so and then it's really simple. We can just do an else. And then I'm going to go ahead and indent these lines to show visually that they're part of this. And then we're going to do an end if. Okay. And then we're going to want to change these from false to true. And this will invert the end stop logic. Oh, wait. I'm an idiot. We actually don't need to do all this because it's not... Remember, it's not the min end stop. See, I'm so used to working with printers that have the min end stop. We actually just want to do this. We don't even need to have an if statement because the other printers do not use this. So we can just change that to a false. And let's just change all of them to false. Screw it. Alright, so I'm going to save that. And then we're going to re-upload. Now, here's the thing with the Arduino IDE. I actually don't need to refresh this. I recommend you close this out, though. And then we're going to bring my firmware folder back up here. So we're going to reflash this now. And we're going to go ahead and make sure our COM port and everything's selected. It is. Now, my slicer is open and connected. It will fail flashing, so I need to make sure I hit disconnect. And now I can upload to the board. So once this is uploaded to the board, I'll be able to check all that. Okay, it's currently uploading the firmware. I'm going to switch over to the small cam. So you can see when you're flashing firmware, the screen like locks up. These are no longer flashing, and that's normal. Don't touch your screen while you're flashing. Almost done with the flash. It's done. There we go. We're rebooting. So let's test now and see what's moving correctly and what isn't. So now if I do a home X, now X is moving to the end stop. Okay. Let's home Y. And we're homing Y correctly, and now let's home Z. Okay, Z is going the wrong direction. Now to stop it, I can just do that. So I need to invert the Z motor now, so back over to our code. pull up my code here. So this I will have to put an if-else statement in. So I'm going to do, let's do the same thing. We're going to do if enabled ender. And this is all case sensitive, by the way. We're going to tab, and then we're going to put this to true. Hope if I spelled true right. And then I'm going to do else, which basically says if it's not an ender 5, then we're going to apply this setting. So, and then I need to close this if. And there we go. So this is going to say if it's ender 5, we're going to invert the Z direction versus the other ones. And same, if it's not, then we're going to use the regular one. So I'll go ahead and close this out. And I should just be able to re-upload, actually. All right, even though the Arduino IDE won't show the change in the code if I look at it, it actually pulls from the files, not what's actually displayed. So it's flashing now. You can see it's uploading. I'll switch back over. You can stop a home by just pressing end stop. Now, if we have the EZABL on here, you just touch the sensor. Or pull the power. Alright, so let's see if everything's working correctly now. I'm going to go ahead and move this X and Y off, and we're just going to do an auto home now, because I'm pretty confident that this is all going to work correctly. So X and Y are going to home, and then Z is going to home. And now Z is moving up. This is really slow homing. Now what we're going to do is we're going to test that the bed heats correctly, that the layer fan works, and then at that point I'll do some finishing touches on this firmware and push it out to the site, and then the Ender 5 will be supported. Looking at this, it looks like our universal bed mounts that we have on the site should fit this for the solid mounts. Alright, that homed correctly, so I'm going to connect to the printer. I'm going to drop the bed down. So I'm just going to lower my Z, or raise my Z technically. There we go. And I'm going to set my fan speed. Layer fan is working. So that works. I'm going to go ahead and set the hot end. Make sure that's heating correctly. So you can see here, I set it to 190. It is heating, so that thermistor is working. That means those pin, and I'm going to set, that means those pin definitions are working, which I would expect them to. And let's go ahead and set the bed temp and make sure that's heating correctly. Do not go with a touchscreen. You're going to lose functionality. Okay, so everything's working on here. What I'm going to show you guys here is why our firmware is nice. So I'm going to pull the thermistor connection, and this should kill the printer. There we go. So that's what you want to see. Now, the stock one might have min temp enabled, but it does not have thermal protection enabled. So I'm just going to reset this. And I'm going to see if I can emulate a thermal runaway here. Actually, I should be able to. Oh no, that thermistor is covered. So here, I'm gonna do this with. I've seen guys do this with the compressed air. So we're gonna go ahead and preheat this. Hey Matt, while you're there, can you give me the can of compressed air that's on the windowsill there? No, I'm just gonna emulate a thermal runaway here by chilling the the thermistor with okay, so my temps are dropping. I think it's 10 seconds. There we go. So that's why you want thermal runaway. So it will shut down the printer if there's an issue. So I just forced it to have a problem, but that's why you want to have thermal protection on your printers. So this kills all the heaters, it kills everything. So let's see here. So there we go. See the heaters reading the lower temperature. So if you did that, if I did the same thing on the stock firmware, it would have kept trying to heat. And what I emulated there was a thermistor coming out of the heat block because it's telling it to heat, the temperature's dropping, so your thermistor's out of there, it should shut down the printer, just like it did here. So, but you can see, I didn't break anything. It's still heating up just fine now. This is, there's CO2 in these, so when you flip it upside down, you're getting the CO2, which is really cold. And so I basically used that to drop the temperature while it was heating. And you can see here, we're heating just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to lower the bed springs here. And we're going to do it. Let's do a quick little test print, make sure this thing actually works. And then I'll wrap up the stream, and then we'll do a... we'll push a firmware update today, so then we can get the Ender 5 supported. So I'm going to use their... Where's their crappy little magnet here? Alright. There's their magnetic surface here. Oh, don't even remind me, Tor. Alright, so let's auto-home this. I do have an ABL sitting in my office here. That was a customer return that works, so... Alright. Put their... Now, a lot of people get confused, because these boards do not have an SD detect pin, so if I put an SD card in, it doesn't do anything. Just go down to a NIT SD card, and then print from SD. So let's see if they put any G code. Here we go, testdog.g code. All right, let me. I'm just gonna grab their cheap roll of filament here, and let me mount the spool holder. There was. Oh, okay. I could do an EZABL install. I would need a OEM bracket because it looks like. Looks like the same mounts we already have will fit this machine. The only thing is they do have a little like ferrule here holding the belt in. So this might get in the way. I might have to redesign the OEM mount for this one. Basically put a little cutout here, but I could always just manually cut it out. So, but in terms of the hot end setup, it's pretty much identical. You're watching still? Yeah, so like look here, if this is gonna hit the ferrule. See that?
Yeah, I see that.
So we're gonna have to cut here, do this, go outside with one of the soldering irons and just melt a little, like it's right across from there, just melt me a little thing there. And then we'll redesign it. Yeah. Then we can redesign the mount. We could have one for the Ender 5. Which means we're going to have one more thing to manage when people are getting mounts. All right, let me put the spool holder on. Hey, you gotta. I'm gonna modify the model, but right now, obviously, I don't want to have you waiting for it to print. But this is why we get the physical printers in when we support machines, because little stuff like that, at first glance, it doesn't look like it's gonna be a problem, but then we get it, we're like, oh yeah, this is something that's gonna need to change. Now, where the hell do they want you to mount the spool holder on this? And this is why people choose TH3D, because we actually go through and test all this stuff. A lot of people just throw it out there thinking it's going to work right away, but it doesn't. That's why we always test things. We're good at what we do. That's why we're around. I could use a Dremel, but whatever. We got the soldering irons. Just melt it and then clean the iron off. Smells like new hot end. All right. So, I mean, the hardest part about getting our ABL kits or the EZABL is the bootloader. Once you have the bootloader, it's very smooth sailing. All right. All right, we got flow coming out of the nozzle. Hopefully this extruder actually works. But I'm going to do a test print here. We're going to do the test dog. And then I'm going to have to manually... I'm just going to live level this. So it's... It's a big test out dog here. Oh, they're printing a raft. Amateurs. This is their test code right now. It is printing. All right, there we go. I'm just going to make sure it actually prints correctly here. Oh, can't really get the camera in there that well, but it's printing a raft, so it is printing. This doesn't really have that much strength. Like, I'm just barely flicking this. These magnetic beds are not that great that they come with. However, the bottom piece works with our flex plate system. So, alright, while Matt's modifying that, I just want to make sure that this is actually printing, which it is. So our extruder direction's going the right way. Firmware-wise, we're in really good shape here. Any questions while we're waiting for Matt to come back with my ghetto rigged OEM mount? The problem with their stock bed surface is that the magnets are not rated for higher temperatures, and magnets have a Curie point, which is a point where they lose their magnetic properties. So yeah, it's kind of a big deal. So that's what happens. It hits that Curie point. The magnets start losing their strength. and it peels up. The problem is it doesn't have it, especially heated. It's like, yeah, it's like a wet towel. It's just, you know, it's bad. But their magnetic sheet, if you have it on here, you can use our flex plates with the magnetic sheet. But again, that magnetic sheet is not very good for high temps. So even if you have our metal one on there, it'll probably actually stay flat, unlike this flimsy wet towel one. But it'll eventually just kick the bucket. I don't know if this is going to have the XT60 problem. The connector's not warm, but this is just for the bed. But I'll probably get rid of those as well. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize that. So yeah, thanks for letting me know that I was muted. So I'm going to take these two screws that hold the shroud off, and let's see if Creality put longer ones in this one or if they're the short ones, because sometimes they fit in our OEM mount and they're long enough to go through, and sometimes they're not. I think we're going to be pretty close on this. If not, just grab some N3 screws. We carry screw assortments now too, so if you're ordering stuff from us anyways, you can get that all in one spot now. Let's see. Ooh! Oh, am I going to get lucky? Is this biting in? No, it's not biting in. Alright, so I'm just going to grab some slightly longer screws, because these are just slightly too short. And the thing is, if I make the depth of these holes any shorter, it's not going to have enough like meat on the plastic to grab onto, and then the mount's going to be flimsy. So it's kind of it's a catch-22. If you use, you either got to have longer screws, or if we modify the mount, then it's going to compromise the stability of said mount. Where the hell did I put my screw assortment? I'm going to go grab some screws, so I'll be right back. Yeah, I was expecting Matt to pay attention, but apparently he's not. I just realized you guys are here. I was digging. I don't want to open a brand new pack of assortments. Because I have a big drawer full of them. Big bin full of screws. And I just realized the wireless mic. So, my apologies for the sounds of me going through a million screws. Alright. So, put longer screws in here. Now I just need to get it through the other screw hole here. Come on. You can do it. I swear to God, if Creality slightly changed the dimensions of this. Oh, did I get it? Yeah, there we go. Just took some finessing to get the mount on. Alright, but we're good now. Alright, so I got one screw in, the other screw in. Alright, so we got our probe mount set. Now, we get returns all the time that don't work, aka the person doesn't know what they're doing and doesn't know how to follow directions. So this is actually a customer return that tested perfectly fine. So I'm going to use it on this machine. This is an Easy Connect, so this has its own power adapter. Now you can directly wire this to the PSU power, but just for the sake of time, I'm going to use the power adapter for this demo. I definitely need this power strip plugged in because I need more outlets. All right. So I got our ABL adapter power here. And we're just going to go ahead and get this all set up here. Yeah, this guy like tangled up the cord on this when he sent it back. Let's see. We carried poly wheels, but people were too cheap to buy them. So we stopped carrying them, but we carry regular wheels. Alright. This cable doesn't look... Man, this guy really mangled the cable, but this was put on my desk as a working kit. Despite the abuse the person put it through. So we'll see if that's the case. Hopefully he didn't break any wires internally. I don't know what the hell he did. But he definitely was very, very rough with the cable on the sensor. The BL Touch is not... I don't like mechanical sensor. If you go in groups where people use BL Touch, people are snapping the pins on them all the time because they get caught on a print. These are industrial grade sensors that we use, which will not have, will not even care if they hit a print. It'll be fine. All right, so I'm going to take the Z end stop off in the back here because we no longer need it. Just going to take that off. And this is actually on a hammerhead nut. So there we go. Z end stop gone. And then we've got our ABL module, which once you, I'm gonna clean. I got other stuff to do, so I'm not gonna zip tie all these cables. But you wanna secure it with like cloth tape, or very carefully. Don't over tighten them. Use zip ties on here. But I'm just gonna take my ZN stop cable here and slide the cover off our module and plug it into the ZN stop connection, which is in here. Now, we'll see. What I want to do is I'm going to check and see if... Oh, might help if I powered it. Plug my power cable in, which is the AC adapter, which I just dropped. All right. And we're going to make sure the sensor triggers. Sensor triggers, the LED in the light, or in the case, is turning on. So I'm going to see, so this sensor operates the opposite of the ZN stop. So to test if we got our wiring correct, without even using M1019 or anything, I'm going to put my finger on the sensor. And this is like the stock firmware, technically. So I'm going to keep this on to keep it triggered. And I'm going to see if this... So let's see here, home. Okay. It's not registering. So I got to swap the pins on this plug. So I'm going to take the ZN stop plug out. And we're going to want to swap these two wires around here. Okay, that's going to change the polarity of the plug. Creality just wires these however the heck they want. So it's a 50-50 shot if you get one that's wired correctly. But you're just going to take something small. I usually use like a push pin or a... let me move this up so you guys can see. I usually use a push pin or like the end of a knife. And you just press down the little tab on the plug and the wire pops out. Just like that. And do the same, and you're just going to swap them around. Don't hulk them down. Just push them down enough till they pop out. Put it into the other side. Make sure it stays in. It is. And then there's actually a little tab. The tab you push down, if it gets depressed too far, you can just get your knife under there and just work it up a little bit and put it back in. Because like this one, if I really tug on it, comes out. So I just put my knife under here and just kind of work it up a little bit, and that will keep it in place. So I put them back in, and now when we run that same test, it should keep the bed going up until I let my finger off the sensor. Because remember, ours works in inverse of the end stop switch. So let me try that again. Prepare, auto home. So I'm going to keep my finger on the sensor. And the bed's moving up. I let it go. So our sensor's wired correctly. So now what I'm going to do, is I'm going to go back to the firmware, and we're going to put the EZABL options on for the firmware. So then we're going to update it, and then we'll have bed leveling. Like, here's the thing. Like, okay, this is so bad. All right. This is, you guys watch me take this out of the box. Look at, there's already a bubble underneath this magnetic print bed. Look at this. Like, that's going to screw with your prints. Like, the ABL system won't detect stuff like that. Even if you had a BL touch where it touches the bed, the chances of your probing point actually being where this bubble is to compensate for that is, like, really, really slim. I wonder how hard it is to take this mat off here. Did Creality actually use decent glue on these? Oh, they did. All right. Or it's just really crappy glue that doesn't stick very well. Well, that's good. So if you get these new, it should be easy. We'll be releasing the dual Z kit soon. The staff issues we had with the alpha printers took up all the time I was supposed to have allocated. Basically, I had a guy that wasn't doing his job correctly. So that took up my time instead of actually working on things I needed to work on. So he's been let go. So running a business is a lot of fun, guys. And it's sarcasm right there if you couldn't tell. So there we go. Got rid of that shitty magnetic bed. Let's go ahead and update our firmware. So let's say you're like me, you got the Easy out, and now you gave us more money and you bought the EZABL. So I'm going to go back here to my firmware. I'm going to go to my Ender 5 section. And all I have to do is uncomment that. Oh, might help if I turn my keyboard on. Is uncomment that. So CR10 OEM, it's OEM mount. And re-upload to the board. It's literally that simple. That's it. We're uploading to the board, and then we'll have bed leveling on our Ender 5. I will need to calibrate the sensor, but in terms of wiring and the what's the word I'm looking for? Wiring and firmware. That's all there is to it. So, but I'll show you guys how to calibrate the sensor. Well, I would need something to put on here. I guess I could go grab an easy mat. I could get. Let's see if our solid bed mounts fit this. Hey, Matthew, can you give me 4 rounds, please? Give me basically universal.
Right
oh.
No. Oh, you need universal.
Well, okay. Well, let's see if the strain fits on there.
Okay.
Because otherwise we can just recommend the universal one, which is just the 4 rounds. But strain relief is good. All right. Okay, so the printer's updated. The firmware update's done. And notice we did not have to reflash the bootloader. So let me go ahead and we're going to take this bed off. And we're going to see how the solid mounts work out on here. Yeah, let me see how these... This might actually work, though, because then we have strain relief. Yeah. Yeah, actually, that does work. Cool. Oh, you brought me zip ties and everything.
I brought you a whole kit, brother.
Oh, look at that. All right, so there we go. Apparently, they paid premium money to get access to this crap show.
Well, it's only crap. Oh.
It does not... Yeah, let's see you do any better.
Have you seen my screen?
Yeah, they're like a train wreck. I can't stop. I can't look away.
Exactly. See? It's all about being...
All right, so our Ender 3 bed mounts fit these, and the strain relief fits too. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten these down now. All right. Screw springs. Only peasants use springs on their beds. We're gonna solid mount this baby. So it looks like I got some updates to the website to do after I get the firmware out. So we have them out of stock because we're waiting on more of the aluminum parts to be machined. So probably in about a week. I can enable back orders if people want. Would you guys want me to enable back orders on those? So, all right, there we go. So yeah, I would definitely recommend getting the one with the strain relief. And we're going to go ahead and put these here. So I'm going to put my zip ties. And we include the zip ties and everything, too. The camera armor is not going to work on this printer. It's going to hit stuff. But I'll update the website description so it all conveys what actually works with this machine. So, but we even include the correct zip ties, so you don't have to go hunting for the right size zip ties. They're ABS and aluminum parts, so they're very sturdy. All right, so there we go. I got strain relief on my bed now, so I don't have to worry about that. People want us to do back orders on that. All right, so the Ender 3 mats fit, same bed size, so it's a 235 by 235. Where's my glass cleaner? I saw it over here. There's glass cleaner. Can you grab me some paper towels, please? Or a rag. I don't know where I put my rags. All right. TH3D coffee. Okay, look how solid this bed is now with our solid mounts. Look at this. Like, this is... Yeah. Like, no flexy. No one likes a sloppy bed. It's not bad. We'll see. We'll run it through its paces. Make sure we clean the bed off so our... Matt, should we start coming out with our own line of coffee? Extra high caffeine? Don't tempt me. I could do it. I can make that happen. TH3D branded coffee. What fuels our team for their caffeine-fueled rages? You trying to pimp your dog out?
That's right.
Yeah, anyone want to buy a Corgi Jack Russell mix? Only slightly not housebroken. All right. So here's how we put a bed mat on. So I cleaned it, and then I peeled back one corner. Okay. And make sure you get it lined up, and then just go. Oh, this is gonna go down. All right. And then basically peel it back and run your finger across it firmly. Same process with our PEI as well. There's actually a video on our channel on how to do this, if this isn't self-explanatory enough for you. All right. There we go. All right, so now that the firmware is done, let's go ahead and auto home. That's fine that it made that noise because it's all the way down. And I'm going to turn my sensitivity on the probe up quite a bit, actually, so that way it senses. Okay, so I turned a little too far. Hang on. All right, now it's off. All right, let me home Z here, because I'm going to show you guys how to calibrate it. It's a nice little machine. It's got a mean wheel. It's got the same one we sell, the LRS series. Yeah. It's not 250 millimeter bed sensing. If you max out the potentiometer adjustment on the top, it just puts the sensor on. So it's set pretty high right now. I think I might have... it's mounted higher than nozzle, so... There's all the guidelines for more extensive of a breakdown of how to install our kits. Please check the installation, guys. Don't just use this video where I'm rushing through it, because I know I've installed hundreds of these. So... Okay, so to properly calibrate your probe, what you're going to want to do is set your bed temp to your print temp, and what this is going to do is allow everything to heat up. Now, some people like to say that the probes change their sensing distance based on the heat. I've actually found it seems to be more of the printer bed flexing that adds that variance, so that's just my opinion on it, but I recommend people preheat the beds, so whatever it may be, you know, you have everything set correctly. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm moving my... Let me see if I can get... I wish this tripod was slightly taller for situations like this. Let me see if I can kind of ghetto mount this here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm jogging my head down here. So my nozzle's like on the bed. Okay, so my nozzle's on the bed. My sensor's about 2 millimeters off the bed with the nozzle on it, which is good. So we want to calibrate the sensor at basically a 4 millimeter sensing distance total. So the sensor should be 2 millimeters higher than the nozzle, and then calibrate 2 millimeters off the bed. That's the optimal. So I'm going to go ahead and move it to that recommended distance here. All right, and now what I'm going to do is let this sit here heated so everything can get up to temperature. So we are currently at 52 Celsius right now. Oh my God, stop talking about the wreath. When are you coming by, Shay? So basically, once your bed's at temp, you want to let this sit here for a minute or two. But I want to keep you guys waiting, so I'm going to just do an on-the-fly adjustment. It should still work. Like I said, these new sensors we use are not super sensitive to heat. So I'm just going to turn it, the light here. So I turned it counterclockwise, so before I started messing with it, I don't know if I can see the screw head where it's at. Where's the screw head? Here it is. Okay, so it was on. So if it's on and you're at the right distance, now don't push on it because you can push the mount down. But you're going to turn it slowly counterclockwise so it shuts off. And then go back slowly until it kicks on. So there we go. Now if we want to test to see how the probe is working, if you actually go to, on the latest firmware, I actually coded a new feature into Marlin. You can go to Prepare and run M48 test. And this is going to home everything, and I'm going to press this so you can see what it looks like. And then it's going to test the probe and spit out the accuracy on the LCD screen. So no computer required to run it. So you're going to have to deal with the crappy camera angle because I don't really have a better way to mount it. Now, I'm going to enable fast probing. I'm working on the firmware on my other end here, and that will speed up the probing speed. And most machines can run the faster probing speed. So I'm going to go ahead, and that's, if you're looking at, I'll switch over here. If you're looking at our firmware, it's this line here. You just uncomment this line. It looks like that by default. Uncomment that, and that's going to speed up the probing speed. Because this is actually running pretty slow. I forgot how slow the regular speed is. Yeah, all our other machines have fast probing on. So basically, if your machine is mechanically sound, everything's moving smoothly, there's no reason you shouldn't be able to run fast probe. So once this is done, I'm going to see what my accuracy is. And there we go. So this was a kit that was broken that a customer sent us. And there we go. 0.001732 millimeters accuracy, which is insane. So I'm going to go ahead and update the firmware again. And then we're going to run the fast probe. And we're going to see if the accuracy is still under 0.01. You want it under 0.01 millimeters of accuracy to get good bed leveling results. So even if it's slightly less accurate with the fast probing on, as long as it's under 0.01, it does not matter at all whatsoever. As long as you're under 0.01 consistently back to back, doesn't matter. So I'm uploading the firmware right now, and then we're going to run another M48 test. And the bed is on during this, by the way. Yeah, our probes are way more accurate than even like BL touches. Like they're really good, and we're always making improvements to them. All right, so I'm gonna heat the bed, and actually I'm not even gonna let it. I'm not gonna worry about fully heating it. So we're gonna do an M48 test again. You see how much faster it runs now. All right, and like I said, the accuracy is going to be a little less, but still 0.003, so that's perfect. We're now ready to run a test print, so let me connect my slicer up to it. So I'm going to connect Simplify 3D up to it here. And I'll show you guys what the actual bed leveling routine is, so just so you know. And I'll probably take my Ender 3 profile and start with that since it's such a similar machine. So a G28 will look like this. So it's going to home. It is hitting the end steps kind of hard, so I might have to change how fast the Ender 5 homes X and Y. So there we go. There's G28, and I'm going to send a G29. And here's it getting the bed mesh. So it's actually probing right now, getting the bed mesh. We also maybe, if you're an existing customer and you don't mind buying used kits, we have tons of kits like this that were returned to us that work perfectly, and we sell them for a very deep discount. So let us know. All right, so it just got its mesh, so the system's working. I'm going to go ahead and pull my slicer up here. So I got some here. We'll do a benchy. Import here. test 3D Benchy. And we'll do, I'll do the Ender 3 profile, because that should work. And then I have all my, should be all the same settings here. So where are we at a point? I can't read on here. 0.2, okay. Now, there is a starting code. This is already in here, because this printer already has, the, what's the word I'm looking for? It already has the start code for the ABL system, because that printer has ABL. All of our production machines run our ABL system. Alright, let me make sure supports are off. Where's my profile? Supports are on. I'm going to drop the infill down to 10% here. Check my temperatures. Bed at 50. 215 on the hot end. That's fine. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and prepare to print. And let's go ahead and print over USB. So this is all preheating now. So, that's it. We have a working printer now. I do got to adjust these eccentric wheels. Maybe I'll do that while it's heating up. So, to adjust your eccentric wheels, so these are rotating freely. These aren't doing anything for the stability of the machine. So what you want to do is just rotate these, and what I do is I'll roll them while I'm adjusting them until they just start grabbing. And you want them so you can still break them loose, but see how when I touch it's not moving, but if I grab it, it's moving? That's the correct tension you want on your eccentric nuts. So there's 2 on either of the inner side ones here on this machine. So we do the same thing with this one. It's starting to grab. And you want to make sure that both of them are still adjusted correctly after you have both tension, because one might make the other one pop out and get out of alignment. So these 2 are good now. This one's a little loose. Ignore that. My motors were locked. I'm just forcing it. I'm just going to adjust this one back here. Alright, so my eccentrics are all done. My carriage one's actually good, so I'm going to leave that. I actually have a video coming up on Ender 3, which would apply to this. I'm going to do the power efficiency of the stock PSU versus the mean well. Do a before and after of stock PSU, no smoothers with a benchy. It gets salmon skin. I'm going to put the smoothers on, so stock PSU with smoothers, do a benchy with that, and then just mean well power supply swapped out, and then mean well power supply plus smoothers. So it's going to be kind of like an overall video of here's how your power supply plays a role in your print quality and power draw too, and then here's how smoothers can help. Here's how smoothers will help your print. So I'm assuming since this is the same board and has the same drivers, I would assume this is probably going to have some salmon skin on it as well. But it could also not have it because it does have a mean well. So like on the Tivo Tornadoes, if you swap out for a mean well, the salmon skin almost completely goes away because their stock PSU is so terrible. So you want to have this sensor cable routed, but I'm going to swap the PTFE off and redo all this. So just for testing right now, I have it loose. Just make sure the cable is not going to get caught by anything as it's probing, and don't pull on it while it's probing. So you want to you don't want this sensor mount to be moving and screwing with stuff. Now, there was some film in the way. I don't know if that's going to affect my probe or not. I don't know if it was right under it or not, but I didn't see that. But once it gets the mesh, I can let go of the cable. Alright, so it's now done using the probe. I'm going to go and grab this little doot of filament off here, because we got a 10-second wait with the starting code. So now it's going to be too high, so I'm going to press the button twice on the LCD, and now I'm dialing in my Z offset by rotating the knob. Oh, it's not... It is acting weird here. What is it doing? Oh! Wait. What the hell is it doing? There's something funky going on here. Because it's probing correctly. Is this a G-code setting? I wonder if I have to change the splicer profile for the max and min. Hang on, there's something weird going on here. This is why we test things here. Yeah, here we go, homing direction. I got to change the homing direction of my slicer here from min to max. So I'm going to save a new... Here, Matt, I'll drop that down so you can clear that off. Let me create a new profile here for the under 5. Yeah, that's why. I was wondering why I was printing all weird. I was like, wait, this is a different homing direction, so it's gonna need some settings changes. Okay, so G code, homing direction max, Z axis is min. Okay. You should update the encode on the website for the people that... I don't know what you mean. I don't understand what you're saying. Alright, so we're going to print over USB now. And hopefully now that I change the slicer settings, it's actually going to print correctly. Hurry up! Get it! Does it? Oh, shoot. The frickin' X. Yeah, homing failed. Yeah, the X came out. Alright. Let's reset that. Come on, shut off. There we go. I was wondering why the X didn't home. It would help if the cable got plugged in. It got caught and pulled out. So, yeah, we're definitely have to figure out cable management for this. Creality didn't really think about that, did they? No. I'm shocked. There we go. We'll do another print here.
Do they not have strain relief on their bed?
No, there was no strain relief on it. Come on, connect to my printer. Just like, it's like, no, I will not connect. Why is it not? Oh, it might help if I select the right baud rate. Derp. Harley, shoot us a ticket and ask about the B stock. We call them B stock kits. So the only difference is there's no included support on them because we sell them for so cheap. We're basically just covering the cost of parts, and it's 30-day warranty instead of 90. So
And I believe we do have them in stock.
we have plenty of them because that's in that bin you guys got to go through. Yeah. All right, so let's start this print again with the correct profile set up this time.
What's up, Matt?
Yeah, we figured too, like, it's good because you get people that are already familiar with our product that don't mind, oh no, it's a return, whoop-de-doo. I buy return stuff off Amazon all the time. Printers, fridges, furniture, you know, and most of the time there's nothing wrong. Yeah, you probably did, Shay. When are you coming by? I know you were just in a car accident. I hope that's I hope you're recovering from that. Those are terrible. Samantha has been in 2 car accidents. It's never fun. So we're currently just waiting for this to heat. It's almost at temp. It's heating the extruder right now. Oh no. I grabbed the video instead of the actual... Ah! I'm trying to... There we go. I was trying to grab the window. So I see. We got 99 people watching right now. That's crazy. That's amazing. If you guys aren't subscribed right now, please subscribe so you can get notifications of our future streams. It's pretty good because I only posted this in on our social media stuff. I didn't even I forgot to post this to the groups last night. So, yeah, please subscribe if you guys aren't subscribed. And like this video because YouTube likes when they like the video. I personally don't care if you like the video. But for the algorithm and recommending our videos to people, YouTube likes to see that there's engagement, like people liking it, commenting it, that kind of stuff. So it helps us out. Doesn't cost you anything. All right. We're at almost at temp. We're at 212 on the hot end, 50 on the bed. Now I only run 50. I only run 50 C on our bed mats because you don't need to run a ton of heat on here. So like I said, make sure you guys secure your wire. I'm just doing this because we're going to do other work to this printer, and I don't want to waste a bunch of zip ties and tape mounting all this when we're just going to redo it once I swap out the when we swap out the PTFE for tough tube. Because if this is just going to be PLA, actually even on our ABS machines we just swapped in tough tube. We didn't actually do an all metal heat break because the tough tube is good up to 275 C for continual use. Your stock PTFE is only good up to about 240. So it's a cheap upgrade. You just swap it out. It takes all about 5 minutes. You heat your hot end up, put an R tube after taking the stock tube out. There we go. Thanks for the sub.
Did that come with the clip?
Yeah, it came with a Bowden clip. Because they know, instead of, yeah, let's just put a clip on instead of actually supplying better connectors, which are the actual problem. Which we'll be doing. We'll be swapping out the connectors and the extruder. Hey, on this one, we actually don't need, for the Titan, you don't even need an adapter because it's not that bracket. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and... Okay. So look what just happened here. It homed and ripped its X motor cable out. So we're going to have to figure out... I'll have to see if anybody came up with fixes for this on Thingiverse, but apparently you can't route it around the... You got to route on the outside. Like this is like definitely, they put no thought into how to route these cables. So, yeah. Yay, now I got to start the damn print over again for the third time now. Come on, Creality. I know you guys got the engineers and people to figure out stuff like this. It's not Core XY, it's actually Cartesian. People think that just because it's a cube, it's Core XY. It is not. All right, so I'm gonna heat these and let's print this one more time. God.
What is the difference?
The difference between Core XY and Cartesian is we've got one motor that moves X back and forth, and we've got one motor that moves Y back and forth. Whereas Core XY has a full belting system, and you use two motors to control X and Y, and they work on opposing forces to make it go diagonal or front, back, left, right. Some people say that the Core XY is a little more accurate. I found that as long as you build your machine correctly, you can get great prints out of any type of machine. That should be fine now.
Yeah, no, it's just
there's like no slack on it. So I don't know what people are gonna do to cable manage that. Yeah, I'm gonna look and see what people are doing on the groups and forums and stuff, but
an adapter.
Yeah, something. Your subscriber. Thank you, Margus. Oh, there's some schmutz on the nozzle. Oh, no. Don't touch it. Hang on. Got it. I actually kind of wedged the sensor cable between the PTFE and the other cables right now. I already got the nozzle booger. Yeah, let's see if we can get it to print. And I can finally set our Z offset. So you can do it with the guide, or you just tap, and then you can bring the nozzle down while it's printing on the prime line. There we go. Now our slicer profile is set up correctly. It is actually going to print in the center. And there we go. Should be good. Maybe a little more smush. I mean, let's be honest, though. Our mat holds it down either way. All right. And I'm going to go to Control, Store Settings. Oh, you know, I just realized I didn't test the filament sensor, and there's nothing in this sensor, so it should have technically triggered. So I'll have to check and see. Unless that was a sensor I had sitting in my thing, so maybe it's defective.
I don't see the light on it. Oh, it's got to be triggered.
Yeah, but it should have actually... Remember when you forgot to load the filament and it paused at the beginning?
Yeah,
So I'm willing to bet this is a bad sensor. That's why it was sitting in my drawer here. So, alright, whatever. We'll see if it prints. I can figure out the filament sensor. Yeah, because this is definitely a used one. Yeah, there's marks and stuff on it. So I'm assuming this is probably a defect that I had sitting in my drawer. Who's spamming in our chat here? That's not cool. You're going in a timeout. No, filament sensors do work over USB prints. You just have to have the profile set up, which ours should be. Yeah, M75. I think the sensor's just not responding. This was a random one I had in my junk drawer. So that's probably why it was in the junk drawer. Was because it's bad. And I wanted to find out why. So, but we're actually printing. So that's a leg up over the Ender 3s.
Yeah. Yeah, I have an Ender 3 that's not printing.
So there we go. That's it. I just got to test the filament sensor here. I'm not going to actually let it finish because it's a Benchy. I've got a million of them already. So, but you can see we got our first layer down real nice. So go ahead and get that off there. Bam. So here we go. Here's our first layer. If come on, focus, Logitech. Come on, Logitech. Yeah, you gotta like put your hand behind it.
There we go.
There we go. Partially. You guys get the idea. It's actually flat. So, let me, what was I just talking about? There was something I was just, oh, the filament sensor. So I'm going to test this. Can you go grab me another one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's showing triggered. So I'm assuming this one's defective or I modified it and forgot that this one was modified. Because I was modifying sensors for some printers that came with stock sensors and the stock sensors failed, but I didn't want to modify the firmware. So I have a couple where I opened them up and changed some settings. Or changed some pin configurations on the inside. I'm just checking to see what's going on with this one. No, I think this one's just faulty. Alright, let's see. Oh, there we go. Filament change.
Yeah. Oh, bad.
Yeah, the sensor was just bad. As soon as I put it on there, it started filament change. All right.
And press button to.
Yeah, we don't need to insert filament and press button to continue. All right, so that would be why it didn't work. So this board is shot. Just throw it in the garbage. Here, keep the casing in case we ever need a spare casing. Because the casing itself is fine. Someone breaks their case or something, we have a spare. Oh yeah, it's showing open now. So yeah, it was just a bad sensor. Like I said, that came out of my junk box, which would make sense why it was broken. So yeah, they actually give you like half a roll.
Actually, print their test dog.
You can print their test dog. Yes, you can. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and feed it through here, and we'll do a first layer test here so we can show. All right, so got my filament sensor on here. Once you have a filament sensor on your printer, it's just like it's so nice. So the EZABL V2 will be compatible with the Ender 5. That's available on our site right now. And I will put the bed mounts, once we end the stream, I'll put those so they can be back ordered. Like I said, we're waiting on the next batch of the aluminum parts to be machined. Yeah, so let's... No, the cam will probably hit. The cam arm will hit, so I'll make sure we specify that on the product page. Yeah, you'd be better mount your camera like on the actual frame of the printer instead of the bed, since this one is a different style. All right, let's go and load my test print here. Let's see, TH3D local firmware bed level tests. Where's the 275? Oh wait, no, that's too big. The 200. Here we go. Just changing my slicer settings here. Why is it not showing the lines? Why is it just discarding those? What is my... No. It's gotta be a setting on here. There we go. Alright, so let's do a test print here. Oh, did I turn off the music? Oh.
I think it ended.
There we go. So is anybody, let's see here.
Pretty decent looking printer, though.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Classic 3D printing.
You printed the sole of a Benji flip-flop? I have a lot of those. They said, can you go get him coffee too?
Yes, master.
So now, hopefully, if I set my Z offset correctly. I can't remember if I stored it or not before I reset the printer.
You did.
Okay. Oh, there's some boogers. Yep, Z offset's in. Get. Well, there was some.
I think that filament just spews out at that temperature.
Yeah. There we go. You guys might not be able to see it too well, but it's printing level. So it's running the skirt right now. So, and this machine actually shouldn't have the gantry issues like the Ender 3 loves to have.
Oh, yes.
The skewed gantry.
Love that.
So there we go. We set our Z offset. It's printing just fine. I probably could go a little lower, on the Z offset, but the mat sticks so well. And hopefully, I'm assuming the gantry is all squared up. It looks like it. The bed actually only has a slight tilt to it, looking at it here, in relation to the rest of it. Oh!
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, well, that's having a mind of its own and hard to mount. So, but you guys get the idea. It's working. We got the bed cell mounted. There's some shmoo on here, but it's just gonna print the test print here. We're just gonna do squares in each corner, and then it'll fill them in so you can test your bed leveling. So that's about it. I'm gonna go ahead and button this up. Now the only thing that worries me here is you can see we've got this grid. It's on a slant. Like, it's on an extreme slant, so something's off physically with this printer. Look at that. See that? Because this mat is on the bed square, and we got this big deviation here. So something's not built correctly on the gantry, it looks like. Oh, God, my microphone pack just fell. Somehow it's still printing correctly. But yeah, this is definitely not squared up very well. Now, maybe it's the bed itself. Maybe the bed itself is on an angle. I'll have to do some test prints and see, but something's not right here. Because you can see it really bad back here. So,
Yeah, because it looks like
yeah.
everything else is square here. Why isn't this squared?
Something's off on it. As you can see here. I think the gantry, yeah, the gantry, so this is tilted like this, so I'm going to have to adjust this. Yeah, it's definitely slanted this way. That's why this is printing like that. Yeah. So I'm gonna wrap up the because then this will spin on here. So here, now, if I just move this, I can move just the one side. So now that's how I square it up. So that noise you heard was it skipping the teeth. I should have looked at the assembly on the rear closer, and I would have been able to figure out that that's how it's squared up. So now with this, I'm going to use the corner brackets to get the square right, and I'm going to tighten down the one I just loosened up to lock that in, and then I'm going to tighten those 4 bolts back up that I loosened up. And then that'll fix that issue. That's it.
Pretty minor compared to other stuff.
Yeah, pretty minor compared to the Ender 3, and they're sagging gantry. So this is now lined up. And I'm holding this, like pulling this towards myself while I'm doing this so it keeps everything squared up. And then I'm going to adjust the eccentric nuts. Alright, so that'll fix this weird bed result. So, surprisingly, it actually was printing. That didn't throw off the ABL, surprisingly. But it's not something you want to be dealing with.
Also why it's kind of good to have our mat. Because that way you can see that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you're not going to notice that on their mat without the grid design on it. Your prints will just come out a little Italian. Do you get it? Because the leaning tower, the leaning ender of printers. It is a Creality. You want to be a Creality without some flaws. It adds character. Okay. But all in all, not terrible. You just got to know what you're doing and how to recognize and fix issues. Not just fix them, but also how to recognize what the actual problem is. Which is why we get paid the big bucks. That's what my dad always say. That's why I get paid the big bucks. Except it's sarcasm. I should just go back into IT. I made more money that way. Then I have to deal with all you guys.
That's right.
God. Alright, so our eccentrics are good. This is all squared up, so let me run another print just to, because I'm sure there's gonna be guys who, let's see what it is now. Okay, fine. If you're willing to wait, fine. Oh. I don't want to wait for that thing to home. Oh, it's already... Oh, it was already heated the entire time. I didn't even realize that. I should have put an extension cable on this so I could actually move this camera closer. Alright. Hopefully this won't mess with... It shouldn't mess with the offset, I don't think. We'll find out. No, we're still looking pretty good. Maybe just a smidgen down. No, are we good?
It's okay to me. I mean, didn't really move anything with the bed, so.
So I'm gonna let that print. Yeah, no, we're good. All right, so I'm gonna let that print, and I'll show you guys what I was talking about with the slant.
That's good right now.
It's 100% less Italian. Page 13 of the guide. All right, well, Now you guys can see what I'm talking about. Look at that. It's a straight line for the most part. It's a hell of a lot better.
That's pretty good. I don't think
Yeah.
you're going to get any better than that.
And that could just be a slight misalignment with the bed itself, why it's at a slight slant, but that's going to print correctly now. So, I think that'll bring us to the end of our stream here, unless you guys have any questions. I'm going to get the firmware rolled out later tonight. So the EZOut and the EZABL will be supported on this printer. So if you want filament sensors, I think they're like $20 for the sensor and the board and the cables. And you saw me at the beginning of the stream, you literally just plug it in. The hardest part is going to be the bootloader, and we have a video for that and a guide. It's at bootloader.th3dstudio.com. We also sell the bootloader kits. You can buy the bootloader kit at a discount with our ABL kit and with the EZOut kit. So if you need a bootloader kit, so the Uno and all the cables, buy it with one of those products if you're going to get them anyways, because you're going to save money doing that. I'm gonna enable back orders right now. The used kits are not on the site. That's kind of you got to know to contact us thing. We haven't had a chance to fully automate that process yet with everything else going on here. But you can send a support ticket in. Just let them know you heard about it on the stream, and Matt can get you all squared away with that because he handles the shipping for things for the most part here. Only got 35 orders waiting processing now. There was like 100 this morning.
Yeah.
Damn.
Okay.
Samantha's out. Oh, she was packing her. So she's faster than you.
Oh, you're going to dig that again.
You guys are putting the stickers in with the orders, right?
I don't think she did.
Can you make sure she did? Because we should be giving these. So we have stickers, and these are going to go in the packages. Can you? Is she still packing right now?
No, I don't think so.
Well, let her know that they get nerds and stickers now. I bought like 5,000 of them.
We're not paying her. We're waiting on stuff.
So, anyways, for those of you wondering, our system works great. Like, look at that. No bed leveling to mess with. Bed is solid mounted, so that's super rigid now. It's a great quality of life upgrade. I love these kits that we make. Like, no joke. They work. They're not bullshit. I had some guy call it a gimmick the other day because he couldn't figure out how to get it working. And then once he got it working, he was like, oh, okay, this thing actually works. I was like, yeah, we're not China selling you snake oil here. Snake oil. I love that word. It's such an old word. Hang on. All right, solid mounts. Hang on. I'm going to enable back ordering on the solid mounts right now. Because we can at least get the ABS parts pre-printed, and I'm going to get the... I got to actually go to the product page here. So anybody got any questions here? Anybody got any questions on the printer, on our products, anything? My opinion, this is a decent machine. You can actually bundle this from the ABL product page. So if you go here, and we're out of the mini sensors right now, but just use the regular size ones. Let's see. Yes, Creality and I are cool now. But here, so you can actually save like almost $4 on the bootloader kit if you add it with the thing, and even save money on the solid mount. So instead of 20, they're only 15. So if you're gonna fully load out with all our stuff, make sure you take advantage of these add-ons here, because if you add these to your cart separately, they're gonna be more expensive. So make sure you bundle them. So like if I add this to my cart now, so for $90, that gets you the bootloader kit, the solid mounts, and the ABL kit. So $90 will get you all that. If you want the easy out, you can go here and then just go to easy out, and you want the full kit. Now you can use with our board, with our easy ABL kit, you can use the filament sensor and the ABL. You can't do that with the BL Touch. So you're going to want the CR10/Ender 3 version and the filament sensor kit, and that's $21. And this is actually, if you're going to buy the ABL kit, buy the bootloader bundled with the ABL kit, because we give you a bigger discount on the bootloader if you pair it with the ABL kit, because we've got better profit margins on the ABL kit. You know, a $60 product versus 20 something. So we give you a little more off on that. So basically, if you wanted to do what we just did here, you would add the ABL kit, either the direct wire or the Easy Connect, bootloader, and the solid mounts, and then there's the filament sensor kit. So there you go. I'll put in my address here, and then you can see. So there we go. That's what we just put on here: the ABL kit, bootloader, and then the solid mounts here. And I'll update the product listings later tonight to reflect that the Ender 5 is supported on these specific products. And then I'll push the firmware out shortly here. So I know some of you guys already have Easy ABL kits waiting for this firmware. So, and notice the solid mounts are on back order. They're available on back order. And we should have those shipping in less than a week. I'm going to order more spacers today and expedite those. So, but that's it. And all in all, and as a printer stock, I really like it, actually. It reminds me of the way and how D6, except without the crappy cable for the hot end. This would be really easy to enclose. Basically, if you built like a cap on it and put 4 panels on it, it'd be a really good enclosed machine. I like it. It's a nice change from the other ones, the other styles. I like the electronics box. You got plenty of room to put extra stuff in here. And yeah, if you're going to do a camera, there's little corner mounts that you can get, just a 20/20 extrusion mount for your camera, and then just have it shooting this way. Don't put it on the top, put it on the inside here so it's out of the way, but you can fit like a C270 right here in this corner. So let me check up on chat here. They actually stopped making their ABL kit because they had too many issues with their sensors.
Reality?
Yeah, that's why they came out with a clone BL Touch kit now.
Yeah.
And then they've got, if you guys see the CR10S Pro, I wasn't originally going to do anything with that printer because that has a sensor on it, except the sensor's so bad, people keep contacting us because they want to put our sensors on it. So I had to buy it. It's a V113 board. The specs on the prox sensor here, I'm just going to show you our product page here. So if we go here, I think I have it on the sales page here. So basically, you can run the kits on 12 to 24 volts. It's got 100 hertz. All the tech specs are down here. So here we go. 100 hertz, 18 millimeter capacitive sensor. These are custom made for us by the sensor factory we deal with. And then we also have on these V3 ones, which is what we're shipping now. We don't have the V3 kits anymore. But the V3 ones come with a fully shielded cable. So this cable actually has shielding in it that then drains out through ground. So if any EMI gets picked up, it doesn't get fed into the sensor, which helps with the accuracy. So yeah, I have the CRX as well. So those are on my to-do list. This was a printer on my to-do list, so I can check this off. So about an hour, I should have the firmware ready. But you guys can see here, it finished the test print. There we go. Bam. No bed springs. Don't have to deal with any of that crap. So, yeah. Any other... better than the Ender 3? Yeah, I would say it's better than the Ender 3.
Structurally...
Yeah, structurally, it's better. It comes with a Meanwhile power supply. But they're both decent machines. You're at completely different price points because I believe, like here.
So like you would have to compare with a Pro. Pricing.
Yeah, let's go to Tiny Machines here. So they've got. I'm assuming they have the 5. Do they carry the 5 yet? They got the 4. Do they not have the 5 yet?
I could explain why we've been getting an influx of asking.
Yeah, I guess there's no. I guess they don't carry it. So, all right, let's see if Amazon carries it here. What does this go for? Currently unavailable.
Awesome.
Is it only available directly from Creality? Here we go. Here's their actual. Let's see. Because I bought this. I'm pretty sure isn't Creality3D.shop that scam site? Yeah, this site is not actually Creality 3D. Creality3D.shop is it's a reseller, and these guys are terrible. Do not buy from the Creality3D.shop. I'm pretty sure Creality 3D. Nah.
Looks like they're a real.
Is this it?
At least the signing.
Oh yeah, direct official online store. Okay, let's see here. So they're $329. So you're about $100 more than an Ender 3. So you get more build height, a better build height, build quality, PSU. If you're going with the Ender 3 and that's your top end of your budget, go with the Ender 3. If you were thinking about getting a Pro, I would probably say spend a little more and get the 5. But again, they're both great machines. It's the beauty of all these printers is we've got so many different options. It's a pain in the butt for us because then we have to get every single different variation in like this just so we can get it supported and tested. So, I mean, how long did this take us? I think we're on... How long is the stream going for? How long did it take us to get this all aired out? 3.5 hours. So, and I messed up the video again.
Yeah, broke it.
Ah! Why is this not grabbing the... Trying to grab the top bar to move my OBS. I just put everything in cart. I think it was like 119 or something like that. Hang on. Where's my... Oh, I think I closed out the incognito window. It was 90 for the ABL kit, solid mounts, and bootloader, and then another 21 for the sensor. So yeah, like 110 and some change. So... what kind of light box? It's called the Bright Box. I got it on Amazon. It's actually been really good. We use it for all our small stuff. All right. Any other questions here? I am not going to have time to do the bundles like we talked about, and I got to figure out the discounts we can offer on that. I don't expect it to be much more of a discount than what we already have on the current stuff. I might be able to do more on the fans, but it'll be one product. Be like, here, Tim's recommendation to make the printer not suck package or something. I'll have to think of something. So, but we replaced the control box fan here. It's the 24 volt 40 millimeter that we have. You should, if you have an AC bed, your bed itself, the carriage, and the frame of the printer should be grounded because if you get something, I've seen it where the silicone pads over time have had issues and it puts AC power into your bed, which will kill you. So if you have an AC bed, your bed plate itself should be grounded and the frame of your printer. The EZABLs, if you run a solid state relay to let the firmware turn it on and off, which we also carry, will manage it and work fine with it. So if I go here, if I just type, it's in like the parts, but if you just type SSR right here, these are the SSRs we carry and recommend. These work great with ours. They don't leak AC current. They work with the printers. They work with Raspberry Pis even. So this is what we use. They're $13.99. They're affordable and they work really well. They do not leak current that can interfere with sensors and other things. So that's my recommendation. Run a 3-prong. So get rid of your Kinova controller. Sorry, I'm just reading chat. Run your ground. ground your frame, and then run another ground wire from the frame then to the actual aluminum build plate. Because it's a safety thing. It's not just making sure everything works electrically correctly. It's so you don't kill yourself. If something shorts out or your wires strain and a little bit of the wire comes sticking through, it's going to ground it out instead of grounding it through your body. There's not a bundle for the Easy Out and solid bed mounts, and I would not be able to. I'm not going to be able to create one. However, if you want to order that with the Easy Out and the solid bed mounts, send us a ticket, and then I'll make a one-time exception, and we can apply. Make sure you include your order number for the EZABL so we can verify. So if you already bought the EZABL and you're going to get more stuff, so the solid bed mounts, the Easy Out, I can refund you $5 on the solid bed mounts. SSRs for AC. Well, at least the ones we sell, those are for AC beds, and then the external MOSFETs are fine. They do make DC to DC solid-state relays, but I think we have to restock the... Did you count the MOSFETs? Because it says we're out of them. We have some, though, right?
I believe that.
Can you count those and restock those for me? You know how to restock on the site, don't you? Or no? I'll show you. So we sell these. I know we have some. I'm going to have Matt restock these. So these are what you should use for DC beds. The ones we carry got big old beefy heat sinks, and you could put these on the Ender 3, 5, 4, whatever you want. If you want to take the load off your MOSFET that's on the printer board. So this is going to basically put the load through this big ass MOSFET that's on here. They're rated really high. We advertise them at 30, but that MOSFET itself can handle over 150. So I like to overspec the products we sell. But basically this BCTL, this connects with this little cable here to where your hotbed originally connected to. And then you hook up the power from your power supply here, and then the heated bed goes here. And there's even a little wiring diagram right here, so you can see how to wire it up, if that makes sense. So basically, this sits in between your power supply and the heated bed, and then these instead of actually pushing a ton of current for the bed, just turn this MOSFET on and off. So, fluctuations on the hot end, that sounds like a wiring issue, or you have a bad board, which I'm going to direct you then to our repair services here. We have them for the CR10, the CR10S, the V2 and 2.1s, and then the V112, even and the 113s. But I would check your wiring. So this is the repair for this board, and we still do quite a few of these actually, where you get temp fluctuations. Is this GIF working still? I don't think it is. I'll have to fix this because these are supposed to be animated GIFs where the temp's jumping around. But 15, negative 15, and 10, that sounds like a wiring issue, not necessarily the problem where the capacitor was causing problems. Yeah, it fluctuates by 10 and 15. Maybe it's your power supply. The MOSFET we sell does not need a fan on it. The heatsink is big enough, and so the board and everything is spec'd out at 30 amps of current, which you're never going to pull from these beds. And the MOSFET itself is 150, and I believe the spec sheet calls for over 70 amps. You need active cooling, so we're way under what that physical chip, the MOSFET that's actually handling the current, needs. So it does not need a fan. It's got a big beefy heatsink, and just having it in your control box will be fine. A little bit of stringing on here, but not too bad. Better than my first Ender 3. So if anybody, you guys got any more questions here? Matt's going to check the stock on the MOSFETs, because I know we have a bunch of them. The physical inventory got out of sync with the website, and we usually short our website a couple of products just in case there's any issues technologically speaking, or if we have a warranty replacement that we need to fill, we have the parts on hand. We do have motherboards. These are in the works right now. I'll show you guys here. So, this is the first prototype here. Oh, come on. We're going to focus. Come on, Logitech. No, we're not going to focus today, apparently. So, anyways, this is our own control board, 32-bit processor, TMC 22.8 drivers, and if you notice, this is a drop-in for the Creality boards. So this will be a direct swap. These will be ready in about 2 months. We're finishing up the firmware side because we're using Marlin 2.0, which is not a final version of Marlin. So we have to finish... Oh, drop my springs. I have to finish testing and basically ironing out all the details. So I expect to have that to market in like April. But it'll be a drop-in replacement for Creality printers, but you can use it for any machine. And we'll definitely post information on the site because I also got to complete all the documentation too. So, it's not. It'll basically, if the important thing is like, what is that board going to give you over your stock one? It's gonna be quieter because of the stepper drivers. You're gonna have more inputs and outputs. We're gonna have an add-on board if you want to do dual extrusion on it. You can. And it's a 32-bit processor, so as new features come into Marlin that need a 32-bit processor, because right now, print quality difference, there's not going to be a huge difference between the stock board and that board. But the way we've designed it is we're using the 32-bit processor. It's got more memory and more processing power, so that as new features come out that don't run on these 8-bit boards, it'll actually be able to be upgraded to have more features because it's got the hardware there already. It's going to be more expensive than the Creality dual boards. We're looking at right around 130. We're going to be in the duet territory for those boards. And that's for the single extruder, and there will be an add-on board that is going to be probably around $20 to $25 because it's going to have a TMC 22.8 MOSFET and a thermistor input for the second hot-end input-output and the second... what's the word? Sorry. The second hot-end input-output and the stepper driver for the second E-motor. And these are not cheap to manufacture. Just the processor and the 4 stepper drivers, you're talking $45, $50 just for those 5 chips, not including the rest of the board itself. The TMC 22.8s are very expensive, and the 32-bit ARM processors are not cheap. So, and we got 4 of those TMC drivers on there, so it adds up quick. All right, so any other questions before I wrap this up and get this out of here so I can get you guys your Ender 5 firmware? So, I got so many of these end-stop switches laying around from putting the ABL kits on the machines. And then I'm also, I have a list already of bundles I want to put together, and I got to talk to the other guys, see what, have Tim's recommended bundle, or Tor's recommended bundle, Matt's recommended bundle, that kind of stuff. On our site, so have little upgrade packs because what I like isn't what everybody else likes. We're not doing pre-orders on the printers, mainly because this first batch, I actually, like I said in the other stream, I actually had to, was it the other stream? No, I didn't do a stream. So basically because of staffing issues, because the guy we had working on the printers was just doing such shoddy work and not following directions that I laid out for building them, we are behind. I actually refunded all the orders on the printers. I have all the people who ordered, I have their invoices here, so I can call them when we actually have them ready to ship. It's hard finding good people and people that actually follow damn directions. Because I basically paid a guy an entire week of work and I got nothing to show for it. So the joys of owning your own company. So I have to now hire another person and train that person to take over shipping. So Matt can handle the printers because he can actually follow directions. And if he gets caught up on something, he'll come and ask me. I can't compromise the quality of our machines. And it was a tough decision to make and it sucked, but I would rather have, I personally called every single one of these customers. If I couldn't get a hold of them, I sent them an email right after. And just from a business standpoint, I essentially have about $20,000 worth of inventory sitting here that I can't ship because I don't have the staff to build them right now. So just let that sink in. $20,000 worth of inventory sitting here just doing nothing. Because I don't have the time to build them and we're short-staffed right now, and yeah. So, anyways, welcome to a little glimpse of what's been going on here. I I was just telling him how terrible you are.
I know. You're all welcome.
So yeah. Anyways, that's about it. We will have the alphas ready to go in probably about 3 to 4 weeks. We are waiting on the next shipment, so we're getting everything ironed out with these batch of 10 that we have here. I'm going to contact the people that originally ordered that we refunded and give them first dibs, since they were kind enough to take the chance on us and we, dropped the ball. But I made sure to communicate any and all delays with them, and everybody was pretty understanding, which was good. I was honestly worried about that, but then the remaining ones will get listed on the site. And then once we have the big batch come in, we should be having these machines regularly in stock. So it's a process. There's a lot of behind the stuff. There's a lot of behind the stuff that goes on here that you guys don't see. It's a lot of work running this company. So plasma, EZABL works with glass or mirror. Yes, it does. And which solid mount is best? Just the standard ones. The ones that say Ender 3, unless you want a camera mount, you can get the one with the camera mount. But they both work. All our kits work on glass or mirror, and actually detect it. They're not going to read the bed underneath like some people's probes do. Ours actually read the surface of the glass. Oh, don't even get to bring up the foil tape. This is a freaking foil tape guy. Oh, God. Yes, let's put foil tape on the bottom of our glass so that we can level the surface we're not even printing on. That sounds logical. I don't know if you guys saw this, but we got a fancy new slider here. Whoop, look at that. Bam. Tired of leveling your bed? Zoop, 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 zoop. And that's actually not sped up. That was when I was testing the new Marlin firmware with the speed improvements. So for the solid mounts right here, you'd want to select the standard, and in parentheses it says CR10, S4, CR20, Ender 3. Those would be the ones. Well, we actually have a bunch of internal testers. We're not going to be sending out test units to anybody outside of our company. So I appreciate the offer, but we actually brought Scott from Marlin on board. In terms of testing the boards, so we're going to be paying him to help us with testing and firmware development. So, doing this, as professional as we can. So, going right to the source of the guy that knows the firmware. Yeah, right now the EZABL is the only thing we really have used floating around here, for the B stock stuff. And that's only if you contact us and request it. We do not sell the full kits on the site right now. We do occasionally have just sensors that are B stock, meaning they're usually new, but they have cosmetic blemishes on them that I'm not comfortable shipping out with brand new kits. So let's see here. All right, so last call for questions, and I gotta eat something. I'm starting to get a headache here. And then yeah, I see your dog's outside. She's like, "Where are you?"
Yeah, I know. She saw me.
It's like she's a dog and they love going outside usually. Yeah, we don't have really anything else that's used, right? Because that's the only thing we really get a ton of, if we get any returns on stuff, it's the kits. And then we test them, and then we go, hey, this stuff works, and then we put them in a bin.
We hit that one board back.
Yeah, and those I already sold. Yeah, if we get customer returns on boards or stuff, which we don't get a lot, I do have those B stocked on the site, but we haven't actually got any returns on the CR10 dual boards. I've had to warranty 2 of them out of 300. The power supply? Yeah, we have a 24-volt power supply, but we could use that for our machines.
Yeah.
Because we have one that the fan was making noise. We swapped the fan out, so I've got a 24-volt sitting there. And that's actually the first power supply fan I had go out on a Meanwell. Was one of the ones that I was actually had in mind, but it had a lot of time on it, so I guess I can't fault it too much. So, but I'd rather keep the Meanwell we have. I'd rather keep the Meanwell we have for our machines, because those, we don't make much on them, and we need them all the time anyways when we're building new machines, so it's not very cost effective for us to resell them as used. So I'd rather use them internally.
Yes, Ron, we will be at Murph.
Yes, we will be at Murph. We're actually a gold level sponsor this year. So we're going to be fancy. We're up there with E3D. So, yeah, we carry power supply fans. It's a 60 millimeter. We carry them in 12 and 24 volt varieties. But honestly, I would just replace the power supply. The main wells we have are going to last a lot longer, and they will not explode like the stock ones have. So I say explode like not like fireball explosion, but they've literally popped and then smoke, and it's just not good. So at least this comes with a mean well. I won't have to swap out a mean well on here.
Actually, give you good power rating.
Yeah, actual amps instead of Chinese amps. So my rule of thumb is if a Chinese power supply that's not a mean well says it'll do 30, I'm assuming I'm probably going to get 15 out of it at the best case scenario. So, yeah, and there's no electrical issues with them. We've had a lot, I shouldn't say a lot, but at least I think 4 or 5 people where they just had weird issues with their Ender 3s, with their ABL kits, and they swapped the power supply and everything just starts working. All their little weird inconsistencies with the sensor and their prints just go away because their power supplies are just that bad. The stock ones are terrible. So, anyways, I'm going to wrap this up. So everybody, thanks for dropping in. It was fun hanging out. I'm going to get the firmware posted to the website today in about an hour. So give me an hour to get that going. I will get the product pages updated. So the Easy Out for the Ender 3/CR10 works with this printer. The Easy ABL kits work with this printer. And the standard solid bed mounts work with this. And I will update the product pages to reflect what is actually compatible with it. And if you want to support, if you like what we do, make sure you subscribe, like the videos. If you want to support us, buy stuff through our shop. That's what supports our ability to do these videos. It's what lets me take time to do streams and educate you guys on stuff and show you what sucks about these printers and what doesn't. So, everybody, take it easy. Have a great, wonderful afternoon, depending on what time zone you're in. And